I wish to speak to the manager. I want to speak to the manager.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be selfish and you know there's disasters going around and you ain't trying to help people and you know you got the technology to do it, I mean, hey, that's on you. I'm done with it.
God. Are you nervous?
Ho ho.
I was like, are you nervous?
No. I was giving us a clean.
Okay. Sorry.
Ho ho ho. And happy holidays.
Happy
We're
holidays.
back.
Merry Christmas.
We're back in our winter cave.
Yes.
Transmitting to you, the lucky viewers on YouTube and out in podcast land, Will and Ava's Christmas movie marathon. We switched things up today. I'm a winter penguin.
And I don't know. I'm just all red.
You're festive.
I'm a jingle ball.
Festive. You look like a jingle bell.
I'm a jingle bobble.
As always, this is a wonderful audio-visual venture where we analyze 2 low-budget, high-concept Christmas B-movies. As always, I'm Will.
And I'm Ava.
And today we are very excited for the first time in our podcast history, dissecting our first film with us. We have a special guest.
Yes,
Ava,
we do.
can you introduce our special guest?
Yeah, so we were really lucky to see some really cool films.
Yes, I guess briefly, our theme for this week is a contemporary Christmas. What's Christmas in the modern age?
Yeah, what's Christmas in the modern age? So we screened 2 movies, one being The Drone Who Saved Christmas.
Yes.
And the second being A Christmas Karen. And, you know, I am only partially close to the idea of being a Karen as like a white woman, so we wanted some more perspective. So I'm bringing in my mom.
Ava's mom is our first guest. Welcome to Will and Ava's Christmas movie marathon.
Thank you for having me. I guess.
Of course I'm joking. My mom is nowhere near a Karen. I would actually describe her as the mortal opposite of a Karen.
And in fact, part of the reason we invited you was as we were watching, Ava mentioned my mother has a distaste for the Karens of the world.
Yes.
I need her to watch this. And then I was like, you should have her on the show.
And I mean, also we had talked about how we would love to have my mom on the Christmas movie podcast to watch a movie with us. Well, we watch a movie from afar because she's in Philadelphia and, you know, we're in the great state of New York.
And I guess a question before we get into the close analysis of the film is, what is your relationship to Christmas movies? And I guess more specifically kind of like the lower tier, like Lifetime, Hallmark, or direct to DVD or video Christmas movie oeuvre.
You know, honestly, I don't watch many of them. I did work as a manager at a West Coast Video when I was younger, so I was forced to put a lot of them on the monitors at work. But aside from having to watch bad Barbie Christmas specials when Ava was little.
Oh, bad Barbie Christmas specials.
I thought they were all pretty good.
Well, you know. Besides that, no, I generally watch more of the top tier traditional Christmas film.
Yeah.
The Christmas stories, The Grinch even.
The Wonderful Life.
Yes.
The original Christmas Carol.
Yes, the original Christmas Carol, Holiday Inn, White Christmas.
Yeah. But the cool thing is that this movie is kind of like a retelling of a very famous Christmas story.
That's true. That's very true.
In fact, maybe the premier stories of Christmas other than the birth of Christ.
That's right.
A Christmas Carol.
I can't think of a more quintessential Christmas tale other than the birth of Christ for Christmas time than A Christmas Carol. This, as you might have guessed, so we're going to jump in, if we're ready, to talk about our first film, a very recent film from 2022, directed by John Binkowski and Lisa Eno Smith. This is 2022's A Christmas Karen, which is a retelling of Charles Dickens' classic A Christmas Carol, but through the lens of a Karen, with the haircut and everything.
Yeah, so Mom, how does this movie start?
Well, in the beginning, there is a lovely little girl who is selling hot cocoa. We find out that she's a neighbor of the Christmas Karen. and she's out on the front lawn. I'm not sure if it's an HOA neighborhood or what's going on, but Karen wants to make sure this girl cannot sell hot cocoa
Yes.
on the lawn.
Yes, and that might be, to put it lightly. I think that Karen is she seems kind of racially motivated.
Yeah, this movie doesn't kind of like. I was worried that this movie would stray away from like what like a Karen actually like means.
How so?
Well, there's a lot of I feel like people now, as opposed to maybe 3 years ago, when they talk about Karens, they're just talking about like any like white chick who's like annoying in a Walmart,
Yeah,
that's like what they mean by like Karen now, like, oh, she's a Karen because she has to see the manager. But I feel like the first iterations of Karen as like a cultural stereotype was like a racist white woman who was doing something racist.
That's true. When I think of a quintessential Karen, it does interaction, which in and of itself, I should say, the reason we watched this was we couldn't believe that it existed, and we were like, there's a Christmas movie circled around the
and this one's pretty popular.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like the movies that we review, this has like 900 watches on Letterboxd, which is not a lot of watches, but usually we're in like the 50 range.
We watched it on Tubi, and it is within the top 10 Christmas movies currently streaming on Tubi.
Yeah. Well, there's this whole genre on YouTube. Our younger viewers might know. Our younger viewers might know this. Darman.
Yes.
So, Mom, this is really interesting. You might find this really interesting. There's this genre of YouTube videos that are kind of like morality tales.
They're very bizarrely, very pristinely shot, like morality tales.
Well, they're shot like in a pristine way, but almost makes it look like a porno.
Yeah. they're shot with like the sheen 4K quality that comes, that has that kind
like
of
a high
sheen
production
to
porn
it.
video. But they're morality tales, and I guess they're aimed for children. And we watched one, and it was like Karen accuses child selling lemonade of selling crack, and it was like a morality tale about like, oh, like this Karen was so racist and evil, she accused this 7-year-old boy. But the acting is like terrible, and Darman himself is always, oh wait, this was Life Lessons with Louise.
This is a Darman ripoff channel.
Okay, so there's Darman, and then the lower tier Life Lessons with Louise,
and they're a little trashier.
Yeah, the titular Louise will sometimes show up, and he'll play like the good guy, or sometimes the really bad guy, which I like.
Yeah. Like they're all like videos that are like an average Darman video would be like.
Darman's better. Darman's less like a softcore porn video.
Yes.
And Life Lessons
visual.
But I'm talking about, but also Life Lessons Louise. Like they had that
get a little racy.
They had that one episode where it was like it was like stepmom tries to sleep with her stepdaughter's boyfriend, and like Louise plays the boyfriend,
and he's like, Miss Johnson, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm thinking about proposing to your daughter. And it feels like this is the beginning of adult film.
Yeah. But it's like totally made for like 13-year-old boys to watch. Like, what?
An average Darman video,
crazy.
though, is like little boy with physical disability is excluded by other boys in his class, and we, as the viewer, watch the bullying happening, and then a teacher is like comes and talks to the boy that's being bullied and is like, these guys they're nothing, you're your own person. And then the boys are either something that are bullying him, either something bad happens to them, or they forgive or ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
But we were thinking it would be like this. We were thinking it would be like kind of a morality tale, kind of like kind of self-serious.
Yes. But we are pleased to find out that do you agree that this movie has a sense of humor to it?
Oh, it does. I mean, the cop that shows up on a Segway.
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
And that's meaningful because, a Segway cop versus, a scary cop, right? You think of Paul Blart when you see the Segway.
Well, and
like
it's
a
also
clown.
Yeah.
It's also like another part of our modern, our crazy modern world. Like, remember all those hoverboards and everything? It's another.
Right.
It's another instance of modernity seeping into our Christmas. But so yes, the Karen. As we progress our way through the Christmas Story plot, the Karen, who I think is honestly pretty masterfully played by Michelle Sims. I thought she did a pretty solid job throughout.
She was given, I need to talk to the manager.
Oh, she's great. You know, she reminds me of like a B-list Melissa McCarthy.
Yes,
Yes,
I
totally.
definitely think like the better version of this movie
Yeah.
is a Melissa McCarthy.
But also, like, in some ways, she was less grating than some of, like, the big, like, celebrity, like, female comedians that are popular right now.
Sure.
Like, she's less grating than, like, Amy Schumer.
Yes,
You
for
know.
sure. I would say that she does a solid job of keeping this movie in a world that is super watchable and at times rather enjoyable because she.
Oh, yeah.
I had I guess,
Yeah.
you know, we don't want to give our ratings yet, but I have to say, dear viewer, somewhat in spite of myself, I
Yeah.
found myself really rather enjoying A Christmas Karen.
And this is like one of those things where like people who haven't watched 10 million bad Christmas movies would not agree with us, but since
Sure.
we've watched 10 million of these, this was like the entire time we were like very engaged. We knew what the hell was going on.
Yes, yeah.
Which is an issue in the other movie that we watched.
Yes.
But with A Christmas Karen, we knew what the hell was going on, and it was moving like pretty quickly. I felt like it was like
Yeah.
at a pretty. At the end, I was kind of like, okay, like
There was a bit of a lull.
we know how the story works. But anyhow, so Christmas Karen, our titular Karen, Miss Karen. She like calls the cops on like this poor little African American girl.
Tries to get her mother arrested.
Tries to get her mother arrested very vindictively. And then I think like the next scene we see her like buying like 500 bottles of wine
Yes,
at a grocery
yeah.
store. Which I felt like was bringing in like two types of stereotypes: the racist Karen and the wine mom.
Yes.
But she's
yeah.
she's an unmarried wench.
Yes.
However,
Yes. I'm curious about is this the first time we get like one of the odd kind of songs that exist in the background of the movie?
Oh, I don't know. You're talking about that song that played at the end, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't know if you picked up on that really strange song.
I did. It was really weird at the very
This-
end.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one that's like
Talking about the montage.
yes,
Yes.
the song where I feel like a tourist. I feel
Feel
like
like
an
an
alien.
Alien.
The so that song doesn't show up. That song shows up in the end in a really strange way, and then plays us out in the credits.
Yeah, I don't know if we hear the song yet. All I really remember though is that she's like arguing with the blue-haired
Yes.
cashier, which I thought they were going to do something like, oh, she has blue hair. Like I thought we were going to have like a blue-haired moment.
Yes, yeah.
Which I was kind of excited for because I'm like, okay, is this movie going to be like every cultural like thing that we talk about right now? Like, the blue-haired cashier wants a tip. I thought that was going to happen. It
Yeah,
didn't happen. But she's arguing like she's like, oh, because oh my god, because the cashier is like, do you want to like donate $1 to the homeless
Oh my
women's
god,
shelter?
It's not the homeless women's shelter. It's the homeless single mothers shelter.
The homeless single mother
And
shelter.
she was like, "Those whores."
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
those sluts deserve to die.
It's so unbelievably cruel.
That's so funny.
Which again,
But it was cartoonish. If she's gonna be, you know, a Scrooge, Miss Karen, like, yeah, she should be like, I hate these wench single mothers. Keep your legs shut.
One thing that Scrooge didn't do, that
Mhm.
this Karen does.
Mhm.
If you remember, she stole hot chocolate when she chased that girl away, and then
She
she
did.
stole the bottle of wine from the store.
She did steal, but I guess that shows that she's greedy.
that's true. And I think that's kind of an interesting element they go with in Karen's characterization, which does kind of set her apart from a standard Scrooge.
Yeah.
Which is Karen like isn't rich. She has a house. She has a like nice house, and
Yeah.
she's able to afford it by herself. But you never get the sense, and you obviously feel this way with Scrooge as well. You get the sense that he's kind of lives a lonely kind of sad life. but you don't really, Karen, she's such a jerk, and what does she have to show for it? She eats like TV dinners. She doesn't do the dishes.
Yeah, I liked that.
She can't afford a bottle of wine.
Yeah, I liked that they tried to show that she lived in like disgusting squalor. That she was just like a disgusting, slobbish person. Like when we get back to her house, she has all like the Stouffer's. She's eating like Stouffer's like lasagna.
It was like a ready-made dinner.
Something nasty, something that like I would never put in my body.
Oh, it's pot pie. She's like, time for pot pie.
Time for pot pie. Yeah, so we finally get home after she's like being, misogynistic and racist and all of the things that she does in her daily caring life. And she gets home.
Yeah, she's also like driving at one point, and she sees like a
oh my god, she hits a kid.
Yeah,
and she hits a child.
She hits she hits a child bicyclist.
I have to say, I don't know if you had the same experience, but when she hit that child and she gets out of the car and it is a child on a bicycle, I went like, oh, this is a movie that's operating on a whole other cylinder that I wasn't expecting.
You know what's interesting? I saw a Judge Judy episode where a woman hit a child in her car. The kid was walking in front of the car, and the woman sued the mother of the child because there was a mark on her side view mirror or something from the child being hit by her car.
And
we gotta sick some ghosts on that Karen.
That's what this Karen did, basically.
It was Judge Judy episode. It was
insane.
Recently. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You saw the child get hit by the car and you were like, wow, this movie's operating at a different level. I saw a child get hit by a car and my first thought was, oh my god, she's about to hit an elf.
Yeah, you thought that this was where because you didn't know it was going to be Scrooge.
Yeah, I like very stupidly did not like
get a Christmas Karen, a Christmas Carol.
It just didn't like cross my mind for some reason, and I was like, oh, when are we going to get the Christmas element? Oh, she's going to hit an elf, and then Santa's going to like yell at her, and it's going to be like, oh, and she's going to go on this adventure because she hit an elf. But no, it was a child actually. It was a little boy, and she berates the little boy for hitting her car.
Yeah, she does the whole thing of where it's like, hit someone with your car, oh my god, runs out of the car,
car
immediately turns to the car, my car.
Yeah, classic evil.
And wait, that story never comes back.
It doesn't.
No, that's just like a little character moment for her. She's fine.
She just hit a kid.
Yeah.
And she gets away with it.
The kid is fine though. He gets up.
That's true.
A few bruises.
Well, I guess in terms of plot,
and guess
though,
what? His parents aren't going to believe him when he's like, I got hit by a car today. They're like, you're fine. I feel like you're fine. Shut up.
That said, though, I guess if we're talking about plot, while she's driving, we do have a bit of a plot thing happen. She sees someone with a cardboard sign that says, Karen, or like says like, can you help a poor soul? Yeah. And she says like, you can throw out my coffee cup. And the person's like, thanks, Karen. And she's like, they knew my name. That's freaking weird.
Yeah, and you can tell it's gonna be supernatural because the nails are disgusting.
That was a cool element when the little spooky nail came up and it said like the end is near on the sign. Yeah. I liked that. We skipped over her at the coffee shop. What did you think of the coffee?
What the hell happened at the coffee shop?
You remember?
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, right. And she's complaining that it's not the right order.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it's a classic coffee shop situation.
Which is again,
I kind of hate that's like my least favorite like stereotype of us people nowadays that we ask for macchiatos with the extra foam or whatever.
That's true.
Like,
I feel
leave
like
me alone.
Every like hack screenwriter thinks it's the funniest thing ever to put milk in coffee.
Yeah, it's like okay, like.
Yeah, like there was that clip. I don't know if you saw this. The clip that was going around that was like that like the Senorita Awesome clip. Where she's
do
like,
you know about Senorita Awesome from TikTok, Mom?
It was like a clip where it was from like a Lifetime thing or something. I don't know what it was from.
It's from it's that girl that's like she was like a Disney star. She's the one that's like, and I went into the Disney office and I said, we're gonna make history. It's that girl.
Debbie Ryan?
Yeah, she's
no,
it's
not
yes,
Debbie
it's Debbie Ryan. We're gonna put in a little like note that says like, yes, it was Debbie Ryan because she is Senorita Awesome in this clip.
But anyway, Senorita Awesome comes in and she's like, I would like a double venti frappuccino with 3 pumps of whatever, blah 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 blah. And then the barista is this guy that's like flummoxed by how much. And then she goes like, huh,
just kidding.
Just kidding. I hate that stupid white girl shit.
I
just want a coffee.
Yeah.
What name can I put this coffee under? Senorita Awesome.
Yeah. That's. I feel that's like from Riverdale or something.
I don't think it's from Riverdale.
It's giving Riverdale.
I don't.
Do you even know what Riverdale is, my
Riverdale's
darling?
about going to hhigh school.
But it's
And
but
you're
it's,
also in the Archies.
But it's like
You're
even
Archie.
beyond that. Riverdale
And
has
you're
like.
Jughead.
Do you know how Riverdale ended? Riverdale ended recently, and the ending was that everyone was actually in a secret polyamorous relationship.
That's awesome.
It's like
and
the
it's
crazy-
about Betty and Jughead.
There's like alternate dimensions. There's like crazy shit that happens in Riverdale.
I know they did a music. Their high school did a musical of Rent. And
Yeah.
there was an episode where you got to hear all the Riverdale kids sing like Seasons of Love.
Yeah, well, and that's also the show where you get the clip where the jock is like,
Oh yeah, this is high school.
no, the one guy's talking about how like I had to drop out of high school to like sell cocaine when I was 12, blah blah, and the jock is like, and you never get to experience the highs and lows of high school football.
Yeah, something
It's
like
like
that.
a crazy show. Anyhow.
We're talking more about Riverdale than we are about Karen.
Yeah, I think we have to focus on the movies. Fuck TV. So coffee shop, you know, her little catty friends are all being catty, and annoying. She's like annoying Karen. She just does all
Yeah,
her
she
annoying
sends
Karen
her
shit.
order back.
I feel like we need to get to the big thing that happens, which is the ghost of Jacqueline Morley.
Yes, Jacqueline Morley. Karen pours herself a mega pint of wine.
Yes,
And
she really does.
and retires for the evening and eats her pot pie, or her pot pie is having trouble in the oven, and out of the oven comes the wizened witch-like hand we saw on the sign earlier, and connected to that hand is the honestly pretty fun and well done monster makeup of Jacqueline Morley, who announces herself by saying into the camera lens, "What's up, biatch?"
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. And so Jacqueline Morley was like her boss,
old boss.
just like in Scrooge mythology. And
Well, Marley was a partner.
yeah, but it's like the same idea.
It's the same idea. I was nitpicking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like you are being the male Karen right now.
That's true. I'm man Karen splaining.
Your man spreading in your penguin suit. So
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
So let me tell you something. My mom's gonna slap the heck out of you when we're done with this call. She's gonna drive right up to New York
Whoa.
and slap the heck out of you because she's like, you're talking over me.
Oh,
Yeah.
holy cow.
Yeah. It's gonna be bad.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be a bloodbath
But
in
so
here.
Jackie Morley.
Jackie Morley comes out, and Jackie Morley, it's awesome because they characterize her as like a total whore. Which
Played by Megan Colleen Maroney.
but not like a sexy total whore, like the old woman. Like I'm saying wench a lot, but this movie is very much based on like wenchy, like these are all wench women.
Wait. This is something I wanted to know. Seriously.
Okay.
I'm glad you touched on this because, like, she actually looked better as the dead person.
Yeah.
And so
She looks fire.
right, she keeps talking about these married men that she slept with, and I want to see the quality of these men.
Yeah, I wish I saw.
We
the
never
men.
got to see these guys.
It would have been
These
awesome if they
guys.
were like.
There aren't any handsome guys in the movie either.
It would have been awesome if they were super sexy guys.
Yeah,
or they were like powerful or something, and I'm wondering what was the dynamic here.
Or there was like ugly fat alcoholic guys that she was
Yeah.
sleeping with, which is more likely. But yeah, she's characterized as a total whore because like when she was alive at like business Christmas parties, she'd like fuck the married men like at the Christmas parties or something along those
Yeah.
lines. Like there's all these lines like, oh, and we all had to watch. Everybody had to watch out for her husbands around you, Jackie Marley.
You hated everyone, had sex with every guy.
Had sex with every man, and also like okay. Oh, the best thing though is that you know like how in the Great Scrooge story, Jacob Marley has the chains that are the chains are so heavy.
Well, this was when I realized this was a movie for an adult audience.
It's a movie for me. Her chains is a freaking chastity belt and like garters and shit.
It was crazy.
Awesome. I was like, I stood up on the couch and I started clapping.
Ava did go out loud. It might have not been at that point, but at one point in our screening of the film, Ava went like, "Oh my God, is this awesome?"
Yeah, because that's like the funniest shit ever. So
Call her coochie chain.
Yeah, they call her coochie chain.
Coochie
The
chain.
other ghosts call her coochie chain.
Yeah. So speaking of other ghosts, I mean,
So
we know
Karen-
how Scrooge works.
Karen does that classic, surely this is an undigested piece of pot pie, or some bad grocery store wine.
Could I just say I love like Christmas Carol adaptations because I love that they all use like the same like
You
lines.
check
and
off the
beats.
fucking boxes.
Like-
You there, boy? What day is it?
Yeah, so she kind of. I wish that she asked for the fucking Christmas goose because that to me is like the funniest thing ever.
She asks for an epic skateboard,
Yeah,
which
but
we'll get
I
to.
mean, yeah, but like,
Oh,
but you know I love like when we did our Christmas album, our joke Christmas album that some people think was like a very like earnest like exploration of music between the two of us, but it was like a
Yes.
joke. I did like that whole bit when we sang War is Over John Lennon,
Yes.
where I was like speaking in like a Cockney accent and doing like the Christmas Carol, like you there boy, give me the Christmas goose. You know,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that shit is so funny. I don't know why. It's just so funny to me. It's like what?
Tossing a young street boy
Yeah.
tuppence for a Christmas goose.
I'm like I want to do that. I don't know why. I just feel like that would be a fun beat to do in your real life. Here's 3 shillings.
But so Karen-
like literally stupid country, right?
Karen goes
Like it's because the country's dumb.
about England
Yeah.
country.
I think that's why it's funny. Like shillings. Like what's-
So Karen goes to bed. Karen goes to bed like, okay, that wasn't real.
so that happened.
And we all have seen various versions of this Christmas story, be it the original, be it with Kermit the Frog in it,
Yeah.
or Mickey Mouse. You know, we know
Or Jim
that-
Carrey.
or Jim Carrey even. We know that the ghost of Christmas Past is about to show up on her.
Yeah.
And the ghost of Christmas Past was an absolutely like delightful performance by the actor Roland Alexis, who
Yeah.
like I don't know, he's not been in like anything else.
You know what
that I
it
can
reminded
see.
me of? It felt to me like a good version of the Fairy Godmother performance in
Cinderella by Billy Porter.
in the Camilla Cabello Cinderella, which is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
A movie worse than Christmas Karen, that's for sure.
Considerably worse than Christmas Karen. And Billy Porter plays the Fairy Godmother, and like I feel like this performance is the better version of that
Yeah,
because it wasn't like annoying.
yeah.
Because we weren't supposed to go like, wow, he's just so fabulous the whole time.
He was mostly just very funny.
He was just like a funny gay guy.
What were your thoughts of the?
it was funny.
He was very good. I thought he was such a strong way to start the meat and potatoes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was really strong. I was very excited because, honestly, I thought, oh gosh, what is going on with this movie? And then he came out, I thought, well, this is really like, okay.
Yeah.
he had the Kim Kardashian Met Gala pearl breasts.
Yes.
Yes.
I liked it. I thought
He
he
was
looked
very
great,
well
first of all.
styled. What-
You were checked out after Coochie Chain, but once the gay guy came
no,
on, you're like, okay.
I liked Coochie Chain, but I thought, but then he came on as a makeup artist, his makeup was done well.
Yeah, he was styled
He had
very
a great
well.
costume on, and I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
His,
Yeah.
basic
Also,
dialogue was funny.
didn't her alarm clock explode before he came into screen? Did I imagine that? I feel like her
did it?
I feel like the alarm clock literally exploded and we laughed when it happened.
I think there might have been a point where her alarm clock explodes. We watched this at the beginning of the week. I can't remember, but
Should've taken notes.
But I know that he had some great one-liners. He was very funny, and they take her back to the past in the 1970s to a pretty solidly production designed 70s home.
For a movie this cheap, they actually used their brains 2%, and we're like, oh, when she was a child, it must have been 1976, and actually made it look like a somewhat convincing, middle class home. I mean, Mom, you lived it. Did it look like a convincing middle class home?
Not quite.
Yes, and the colors, they made it kind of like Atomic Age, sort of, and the front of the house, the way they did the bright colors. I didn't grow up in the suburbs, so I guess so. I grew up in West Philadelphia, so we were in row homes. But sure,
But in your mind's eye imagination, it's like I feel.
plausible.
It was plausible. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't
It was plausible.
It wasn't
like
and
late 60s, early 70s.
And I feel like
yeah.
the fact that they like let it look like maybe like dated a little older than like when she would have been a kid worked also, because it's like, okay, like people's houses, like they don't change them every fucking year. You know,
Sure.
They had like some new lamps and like they had an old TV and they had like this and that. I'm like, and there's tinsel on the tree. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was
And
plausible.
they did the little
but you're
girl.
also skipping over the effect they did where she was like walking and then suddenly she let go of him and she was on the highway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty good, I thought.
I liked that, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked that too. Yeah, I felt that
As
like
she travels through the past, she has to be holding on to the ghost of Christmas past, who's later named, we find out his name is Gary. She has to be holding on to Gary in some fashion, and whenever she lets go, she goes to wherever that is in the current day. So, like, that scene you just mentioned was really cool. She let go of him on accident at one point, and suddenly they were in the middle of a highway.
yeah, I thought that was really strong. Like
And it looked okay.
Yeah, I mean, like it was very like obviously like a green screen effect. Like they just have them in the same place and like change the green screen background, but they changed the lighting also, which was nice.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, I mean, like we see movies and like there was like no
It's-
thought
it's-
into making
yeah.
things look like even like remotely plausible.
Yeah.
So I thought it looked really good. And then I also thought like the little girl actress that played her as a child looked like convincingly like she could be like a little 1970s girl. She looked like a little Brady Bunch girl.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
her hair and like the little dress that she was wearing. I'm like, okay. I was given the movie. My mom thinks that the set dressing looks bad. You know, I saw it and I was like, you know, for the $20 that they had to make this, I
Right.
thought it was pretty good set dressing.
Well, and we start to get some of Karen's tragic Scrooge style backstory.
yeah, that her parents on Christmas Eve went out to go to a Christmas party instead of like spending a time with her as a baby,
Yeah.
which I thought was awesome. Average swinger 1970s parents.
not even swinger, just in general. Most of us were left home alone all the time.
That's right. The latchkey kids.
Latchkey kids. Yeah. Average Gen X L. You took the L there.
Oh, I had a babysitting job when I was 7 years old.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was in charge of babies in the church nursery. I mean, it's like
I'm gonna bring that back when we have a kid. I'm gonna send my kid to like the coal factory.
The coal factory? I think but so Karen, she's lonely on Christmas and she
Yeah.
has an interaction with her young self, and then Gary fast forwards a few Christmases and she has this younger brother figure who's dressed up in a brassiere and a wig.
Yeah. And you know, they were like kind of making fun of him, like, oh, like her as a child was making fun of him. They were like fighting with each other. She's like, oh, you're like, wearing the drag, blah blah, making fun of them. They're playing as kids.
Yeah.
And then and then the girls that kisses past is like, and your brother became gay 10 years later, and how did you react?
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
you have a fabulously gay brother.
That's right. That's the exact line.
Yeah, you have a fabulously gay brother.
I like
And
that
you have
line.
a
It's like, whoa.
you have a fabulously gay brother.
Mind you, I have to say, like, when we see the brother, like, as he grows up, he is not fabulously gay. He's, like, normally gay.
Wait, and not just that.
He's a Disney gay.
Mean.
You think he's mean, the brother?
The friends are mean. He hangs out with unfabulous gays that are mean.
That's right.
I could dress them all down, like all of them. I could have said something about each one of them in a line.
Well, and Ava said the same thing.
Yeah.
We thought that the husband, it made sense why he was kind of like
But his
trepidatious
friends
and
are-
kind of resentful about
his
Karen.
friends are like saying like your sister's like Ursula.
Yeah,
It's
they-
like what? It's like,
Wait, no,
like, what?
they're all
He's li-
listen. The brother and his husband are handsome. They just need to be restyled. Maybe it's because where they're living,
Mm,
but
Yeah.
they're supposed to be in Florida, so they'd be a little
Yeah.
more fabulous.
they are in
But
Florida.
also, wouldn't they be in Miami? Like, what are they doing in Celebration?
yeah, they're in like Fort Lauderdale for some reason, or I don't
Yeah.
know.
In Celebration, Florida.
Maybe they work for Disney.
That's
Maybe they
true.
do look at this because all of these. I mean, like, so just so you understand what we're talking
We're
about.
flashing forward to a
Flashing-
section in Christmas
but
Present.
and to understand what we're talking about in terms of Scrooge mythology and lore.
This is when Cousin Fred is doing charades.
This is like their version of the cousin Fred doing charades. It's the brother talking shit about
about
Karen. And all of his gay friends at this cocktail party are just like really sassily like making fun of her.
They're
but like
they're like
comparing
she's
her,
straight up Darth Vader.
yeah, like comparing her to like Disney properties because I guess they're all Disney guys, and like it was just like
oh, I didn't pick up on that.
yeah, there all these gay guys were like, she's like Ursula, she's worse than Ursula, she's Cruella de Vil, I'm like, okay, darlings, do not carry on. But it was a very funny section.
In the past, though, it's revealed that Karen doesn't really talk to her brother
because she's homophobic AF.
She's homophobic.
She's like very homophobic.
When the ghost of Christmas Past, who canonically it's not revealed his sexuality, but he's styled and performed very flamboyantly.
No, he reveals that he's gay because at the end it's like, you stand against everything that I am, referring to him being a black and gay man.
Oh, there we go. I didn't pick up on that either. But anywho, he says, you don't talk to Michael anymore. Or is Michael the husband?
It doesn't really matter, does it?
She's like, you don't talk to your brother anymore.
We can call him Cousin Fred.
Yeah, you don't talk to brother cousin Fred anymore.
To Daffy Duck in
Donald Duck.
To Donald Duck in
because Daffy plays Scrooge in Bahum Duck.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, you don't talk to your brother anymore. You know that he's married now to his like longtime boyfriend, and Karen's
the
like
FedEx delivery guy.
Yeah. And Karen's like, well, that's good for him, I guess. And then he's like, that's not what you say when you pass gay couples on the street. And it's like, geez, she must be saying some really heinous stuff to these
like
couples.
A crazy homophobe. Like, but I guess it makes sense. She's from Florida.
That's true. Well,
she's like a DeSantis voter, I guess.
There is a DeSantis joke in the movie. If you watch in the credits, they clearly just got like the late night host that makes the joke about Karen later in the movie, in the Christmas Future segment. They had him like riff out a couple different jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And
I see for the end credits. I must have turned it off before that part.
One of his like jokes is something like referencing how Karen is revealed to have died in the Christmas Future segment. He's like, you couldn't get more Florida if you had a gator vote for Ron DeSantis.
Will, if you were acting in that movie, you would have played him.
No, exactly. I love I would have been the late night host.
You would have been the late night host. Well, anyhow.
And if you were acting in that movie, you would have been the ghost of Christmas Present. You would have been the ghost of Christmas
I guess that
Present.
leaves me as Karen.
No. You would have been.
But wait. I'm wearing a hotel robe.
Oh, and she does. Oh, that was another
That's
great
amazing.
detail.
This is from the Hotel Osaka, but
It's a beautiful robe.
I got it from I thrifted it.
Ooh.
So I did not get it from the manager. It's like a kimono kind of style.
Oh, I love it.
It's a beautiful robe.
You're slaying.
But I wore it in honor of Christmas Karen.
Because Karen does have a robe that she obviously stole from a hotel, which I thought was a very funny detail.
Yes, yeah. She's wearing it when she, right before Ghost of Jackie shows up.
Yeah. So back into the royal story, childhood drama stuff, whatever.
The parents were neglectful.
Let's fast forward to Fezziwig.
Oh, yes. Fizzy Pig. So Fezziwig in this is a sports bar owner who is quote unquote, the best boss in the world.
I believe it.
He's characterized as like super fair. He pays them well. On Christmas Eve, he says, I'm taking over the bar. The staff can celebrate. However, first, we're going to have the girl bartenders dance.
Which I don't know if that makes him like the best boss ever or like the misogynist, like piece of shit pervert boss who's like, get on the...
Wait. Tell you about the 90s.
Okay, tell me about the 90s.
There were bars that existed like this.
Okay.
They were like, it was like a theme,
Like a tilted kilt.
Right, or like Coyote Ugly, which they made a movie about. So
I was actually assuming I was going to say...
they're getting at,
Yeah. I was actually in a Wawa commercial directed by the director of Coyote Ugly and Kangaroo Jack.
Oh. There we go.
I was in his Wawa commercial.
Coyote Ugly starring Tyra Banks?
Yes.
The
He
Great
was a nice guy.
Terrapins.
He was a nice guy.
But the restaurant, yeah, I think it is. I agree. It's going
Well,
for like a Coyote Ugly kind of like, because they're wearing like kind of like
somewhat
skimpy but like themed uniforms.
Okay, but here's the you said I'd be a Christmas present. No, I wouldn't. I would have been the other bartender because
Tanya.
so she has a child. So she has a bar. So she's a bartender at this bar in the past, right? When she was a young woman. Our main character Karen. And
sorry.
Hey, you better be careful with that microphone. You're giving pops in my ears. All right. So Karen was a young bartender at this bar, and she's dancing to win the tips or whatever.
And the song, this is the one piece of like licensed, recognizable music in the film. They do "Let Me See That Tootsie Roll."
Oh yeah. They're dancing to "Let Me See That Tootsie Roll."
But wait, nobody's doing the Tootsie Roll.
They didn't do the Tootsie Roll.
They probably don't know how to do the Tootsie Roll. But
it is the song, which I did respect.
So it's Karen versus Tanya, and Tanya's a black woman, and Tanya eats her up.
Sure,
like Tanya eats her up. Like Tanya's way better at dancing.
And
like
Karen
also falls down at the end. But she was not slaying. Like you could tell that as the black girl's dancing, Karen was kind of like annoyed and a little uncomfortable. Like, okay, like I can also do that, but like she can't keep up. She's not on beat. She's white womaning, like not on beat. Like she can't pop her booty, and like people are not eating it up in the same way that they're eating up Tanya.
But I do want to say, the actress that plays the young Karen is very pretty.
Well, and that's what we were bringing up. We were kind of like, Karen,
maybe age made her so ugly.
We were talking about. Yeah, and the wine. We were talking about while we were watching it, we were like, "Oh my God, Karen shouldn't feel so bad because she's pretty. She looks great."
And honestly, people were cheering her on too.
Yeah.
People gave her like a courtesy clap when she fell down.
she was like a prettier Julia Stiles.
Sure.
Who the hell is Julia Stiles?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to think. Let me.
She was in one of those movies where I'm a dancer from.
Oh yes. She was in
with like Tay Diggs or something like that. God. I can't remember. One of those bad movies, like not Bring It On, but like something like that.
Yeah.
Does look very similar.
Yeah.
So she goes in the bathroom, and that I believe is Karen then explains is the origin of
her racism.
Her
she became racist because someone was better.
She says I had so much. She says the quote she had resentment toward quote unquote that black beauty Tanya, which was such a strange turn of phrase.
I loved it though. Who wrote this movie? Was it like a black person who wrote this movie?
It was the director. The male. I assume male, based on his name, John Binkowski.
It doesn't seem like a black guy.
He is the sole screenwriter of the movie,
Very
and also
interesting.
one of two directors. He directed it along with a director, Lisa Eno Smith, who I think he's made a few films with.
Well, it's interesting. It seems like he prescribes to the idea, which I don't know how true it is or not, that a lot of racism comes from a place of jealousy.
Interesting.
I feel like that's like a discoursey topic, but it seems like he agrees with that because he's like, she's only racist because she got outdanced by a fire black girl.
Yeah, and they have this discussion in the bathroom of the Fizzy Pig, which is the name of the sports bar.
Yeah.
And
there's like this fun and games section where so she has to be touching the Ghost of Christmas Past in order.
Oh my God, yeah.
In order to not be transported back to the future.
And she
has to use the bathroom.
She has to go to the bathroom. So he's sitting on her lap while she's peeing on the toilet.
And there's people outside of the stall just freshening up to go back to the bar, and they can hear them, and it sounds like they're having crazy sex or something.
Yeah. Or really strange.
Yeah, he's like, stop pushing me so hard. He's saying all sorts of crazy stuff that makes it sound like they're having sex.
Yeah.
So we thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And a good use of the that's the thing about this movie. It's yeah, they had that concept you have to hold on to him, and they actually used it.
And they did a crazy
because there's a lot of
joke
movies
with it.
Because there's a lot of movies where they would forget about that concept halfway through the movie, and we never see it again.
Yeah. Well, and they find a pretty creative way for that to stop having to happen. She wears his clip-on earring.
Yeah.
And that's able to keep her in the past and be more mobile in the next section, which is where she's working at they turn that space into a beauty salon, which is where she and her brother work under Jackie in some, pretty cute, pink overalls at like a beauty salon.
Yeah. and like, Jackie's remaining homophobic. So Jackie's homophobia is like enabling her homophobia, it seems.
Yes, yeah.
And Jackie's also just like an evil boss. Like, so the brother's boyfriend, who later becomes his husband, is a FedEx delivery guy, and he comes in and like drops off a package, and Jackie Marley is like, oh, this package is damaged, I can tell, and I'm gonna get you fired, and I'm gonna get a full refund because that's what I do. That's my MO,
Yeah, yeah.
And we're like, oh man, she's so evil. She's
Karen
the
also,
ultimate Karen.
Karen also swindles a customer into a last-minute
hair dye
job.
Yeah.
And it's like an old woman, and I think there's like an anti-Semitic joke as well. They like make some allusion to the woman's last name, and Jackie says something like, she's good for the money.
Whoa, I missed that one.
I believe that is the implication.
Okay,
yeah.
so this movie's losing a snowball.
Well, I think it's pretty like Karen and Jackie.
Well, I guess like Karen is evil, so that's why she said it.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
She is offending every group.
Yeah.
I have an issue with this scene.
Okay, go in.
Yeah, because you were my mom. So primer, my mom was in the beauty industry for many years as an esthetician. She's very talented at what she did. And she's worked at many esteemed salons all around the Philadelphia area and Philadelphia itself. Continue.
Okay. I don't know what year this is supposed to take place. This brother would not be wearing these pink overalls. How unfabulous is he? He has no highlights in his hair or anything. Also, a woman that's supposed to be seated in their chair, that's a 3-hour process, okay? That process is no more than an hour for whatever she was getting done, because she already has white hair. They're putting some sort of color in highlights in her head. So she's got foils. That would just process for maybe minutes, maybe not even that. They'd wash it out. She's got like a little pixie cut. They would wash it out, style it real quickly. She'd be in and out of there in like an hour and 15 minutes. That would be like nothing. So I'm watching this like, any good stylist would be pushed to do that last client, because it is an add-on. It's very quick and you get a nice tip. I just have to say, I'm like, suck it up, Buttercup. Do the highlights. Get out of there. This is what it's like when you're a worker and not an owner.
He just wants to spend time with his partner, I guess. So, he's like, I don't want to be working. I want to be having
and Jackie is on her way to the Christmas party where she dies.
Where she dies and fucks someone's husband.
Yeah.
As only queens do. Yeah, she slayed that down. She slayed her life away. So like, are we supposed to really hate her for slaying her life away? I don't know.
And then comes the scene where the Ghost of Christmas Past does that move that you mentioned, Ava, where he kind of dresses Karen down.
Yeah.
He says like, "This is you hate everything that I am," and Karen is. It kind of lands with her, but not really.
Well, but she also she liked the Ghost of Christmas Past. Like, she was kind of like keying with him. Like, she's like, oh my god, like you can tell she never had any gay friends, so she's like, oh, this is like fun.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that she really was hurt when he was like, you stand against everything that I am. He was great.
He was so good. He was probably one of the better I think that the movie does rest on Karen's shoulders because she's the through line. But I think in terms of like a second best performance, when they were together, I was loving watching the movie.
Yeah, I mean, we were very like engaged. Okay, so Christmas present.
Yeah, Karen goes back to sleep, blah blah blah. Oh, what's that in the kitchen? Oh, someone cleaned my kitchen.
Yeah,
it's the Ghost of Christmas Present.
All right, I had to be honest, guys. I wasn't so hot on the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah, Joy. No hate to Layla Lawrence. You did a fine job. They had you do a British accent for some reason.
Like, come on, guys.
But it was less fun than the Ghost of Christmas Past.
I think she is the weakest performer in this film, personally.
Because the Ghost of Christmas Future is different, and I think not as fun as the Ghost of Christmas Past, but had some fun elements. Like, I liked him too. I think I tend to agree.
You know, I kind of wish, and we both said this when we were watching this, but I really wished that like all the ghosts were like men, so it was like kind of like the male energy against like her like
that would have been
feminine
interesting. Yeah.
energy, because you know she's like very like high strung and like X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like maybe they should have had like all like different types of guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what would have been awesome? If the ghost of Christmas Present was like a sexy guy.
Oh, very like hunky.
Like a guy that she was attracted to.
Well, and that would have been funny too, because that kind of would go against type of the Christmas present is usually the big jolly guy.
The big jolly guy, yeah. So if it was like a super like strong like fitness like guy,
It should have been. Well, if it's present, it should.
Mhm.
If it's Christmas present, it should have been a very hunky, like sexy trans man
Oh, that would have been interesting.
oh yeah,
that she
yeah.
would have been attracted to, and then that could have been part of the.
That's
And she could have learned a lot about herself.
there we go.
Yeah, you can be attracted to a trans man because he presents as a man. It's a man.
That would be very interesting.
That would be very interesting.
I think but I think
I think in some ways, thank God the movie didn't do that, because I know that it wouldn't have handled it correctly.
that's true. I think that the
That's
movie
true.
touches on everything that it deals with just lightly enough
Mm-hmm.
that it never makes itself feel
yeah.
Too controversial.
dated, controversial, or it never says anything that I think would age poorly.
Yeah, and I just also feel like with a lot of like the Karen like her isms that she does, they want to give the reasons for it to be like very just like kind of like abstract. I want to say, because it's not like okay, she's racist because a girl outdanced her. She's homophobic like kind of randomly because it's just because Rubber is gay.
Yeah.
But they don't really give her like a reason why she's homophobic. You know, like it's not like she's like, oh, I'm really Christian.
Yeah.
You know, they stray away from like the actual reasons why people act certain ways.
Yeah. Which I don't
Because-
think I need. I don't think I need the movie necessarily
Yeah.
to tell me that like Karen is racist because she lives in the United States.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
a lot of structural
Yeah,
racism.
and I agree with that. I don't think the movie has to agree with that, but then so like I feel like it's good that they kind of like stick to like these like kind of like big overarching like things, and they don't get into the minute things that are actually like
yeah.
pretty more interesting.
Yeah.
I would
yeah.
say, because it would be like it'd be more interesting if there was like more like specific things.
But I guess moving right along in the Christmas present, we do see our Tiny Tim in this story
Yeah.
is taking the part of that little girl who Karen shut down the lemonade stand of.
Yeah,
She's gonna be the Christmas angel at the light
Yeah.
fixture,
Yeah.
the Christmas light. Gala.
She says that Karen smells like elephant vajayjay.
Yeah.
At some, I think like someone had said that to her. She's like, Mom, they said that Karen smells like elephant vajayjay, like not knowing what vajayjay means.
Yeah,
And Mom's
yeah.
like, all right, don't say that.
I liked the
And
part.
Karen's very offended, like, elephant vajayjay.
Karen's also offended when the little girl's like, I'm scared of Miss Karen because she tried to get you arrested, Mom. And the mom's like, you have nothing to worry about, and then mouths over her shoulder the word bitch. And Karen's like, can you believe she said that word? And it's like,
Yeah.
yes, actually I can. You tried to get her arrested.
In true Karen fashion, she was like, how dare you call me a bitch
And we're
for being a Karen.
we're introduced to the fact that the little girl
Has cancer.
has cancer.
Yeah, but Karen doesn't understand that she has cancer, which is kind of funny because it's like, girl, like there's like a scene of like a big glob of her hair falling out and the mom crying. It's like, yes, she has cancer.
Yeah.
Yes, she has, like, you're in a Christmas Carol. She has cancer.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not some mystery.
And
But
we're,
can you imagine though, like if like you were like
if I'm hanging out with the ghost of
yeah,
Christmas
like you were
present.
brought onto it, you're like, oh shit, I'm in a Christmas Carol, and then you see a little kid, you're like, oh fuck, I guess this kid's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, that would be my first thought. I wouldn't be like, oh, I wonder. Like, I'd be like, oh, this kid's gonna die. God damn it.
Yeah.
Because I've read the fucking book before.
If I'm a person
you
living
got
in
Christmas
the year
carols.
living in the year 2022 and I'm hanging out with the ghost of Christmas present and I see a little kid, I would go, oh no.
Yeah. Also, like, okay, so like, the little girl has a dad who's like this very average, normal looking.
We're introduced
like,
to the
man.
dad, yeah.
He's like a totally like normal looking like guy. But Christmas present thinks he's so fucking like sexy.
Well, Karen thinks
my
he's
God,
really
oh
hot.
no, it's Karen. Sorry, it's Karen. It's like, oh my god, when he like, cause like they hide in like the bathroom, and like he is in the shower, and he comes out, and like it's nothing NSFW, guys. Like it's just like he's shirtless.
Yeah.
And with the towel on, and she's like, oh my God.
Okay. This father needs a haircut. His fade is all.
I agree. I agree that he needed a haircut.
The entire time. I know they're not supposed to have money and all that stuff, but
He also needs to not work at the.
Yeah, like I'm like, you better get your ass on the Grubhub and deliver some fucking orders. Get DoorDashing. You know, it's like, oh, I'm making no money from the homeless single mother shelter. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
No
I
shit.
can't imagine it pays well. It's noble work for sure.
But your kid's dying.
But he
You better start driving for Uber.
It's revealed that they can't afford
anything. They can't afford
anything,
Christmas.
actually.
They can't afford their mortgage payments. It's like over. It's Jover for them, as we say on Twitter. It was Jover for them.
You mean X? Formerly Twitter.
On X. It was totally Jover for them because, you know, they can't afford their fucking any gifts for their, and it's like, okay, I get it, they have to pay for a cancer treatment, it's very expensive, but like, damn.
Well,
you couldn't go to the dollar store and just get her a doll?
She writes a letter to Santa that says, like, I'm down, give me anything, any extras the kids don't want. You know, very sweet little girl, very sad. But, you know, it's a movie. It's
this
a very...
why your kid's gonna die, because you're, like, making her sad.
Die from a broken heart.
She's gonna die from a broken heart.
That's
not helpful.
And Karen's like...
Wait. They were able to buy the hot chocolate.
Yeah, they could buy the hot chocolate for her to sell, for her to raise money
and
for her
marshmallows.
cancer, and marshmallows, but they can't go to the dollar store and give this girl a doll.
Yeah, I can't. Wait a minute. And she was selling the hot chocolate for $1, right?
Yeah, she was selling, like they are
She's
not...
There's no way that the box of hot chocolate, to be able to make, like, I don't know, 20, 25 cups of hot chocolate, would be able to be recouped.
And it's like, why are you, like, putting this on your kid to be like, oh, yeah, you can go out and try to make money, like a little pauper, to get your money for your cancer treatment? Like, why are you doing that? You live in a white... Look, okay, honestly, like, let's get woke here. You live in a white neighborhood. You're going to have your little black girl go on the fucking street selling hot chocolate, like, please, sir, please take my hot chocolate. I have cancer. I'm going to die. Like, the fuck? All these white people, and now Karen's calling the cops on you. Great job, mom and dad.
There are two parents in this situation. What is the mother doing?
Yeah, what is her job?
That's true. Well, she's become an ace at selling things on eBay.
Oh yeah, she's just selling everything in the house on eBay. I'm telling you, these parents, and you know, and
Ava was very critical of the parents as we were screening the film. I was watching it. I was overpouring with sympathy and empathy.
Yeah. You know, I just have this heart of coal, I guess. But, I mean, I just thought it was a little...
What's with you and coal today?
Oh, like having our children mine coal.
Child go to the coal factory.
Well, coal is very Christmassy. It's like what the bad kids get.
That's true. It's kind of the other side of Christmas gift.
It's what Karen gets every year. A big old fucking lump of coal.
And truly.
But yeah, so girl has cancer. Dad's work. So dad is the head worker. Oh, I think he owns the homeless.
Yeah, I think he's the operator.
He is the owner and operator of the homeless single mothers shelter. And you know, they get like a toy, so someone drops off some toys to the shelter.
Well, we already kind of talked about it, but we also see Karen's brothers and his husband's Christmas party, and they do the charades about Karen.
They're calling Karen Ursula. Yeah,
they call her. They
say
you're
worse than Darth Vader, girl.
They say she's Darth Vader, which was interesting.
Yeah, it's also crazy because like, isn't like Darth Vader supposed to be like he's supposed to represent like, you know, like fascists.
I would say if you are attempting to graft any sort of coherent political allegory onto George Lucas's Star Wars movies, this is a failed project.
Yeah. But I mean, like, but it's kind of like, okay, like I saw like people like discoursing a while ago on like TikTok, like, don't cosplay as the stormtroopers from Star Wars because that's like cosplaying like Nazis. And it's like, sort of.
Okay, one, it's not.
It's one because the stormtroopers in apparently, I don't know if George Lucas even thought of it, really sat down and really thought about this in a meaningful way. But the stormtroopers are supposed to be like literal like Nazi stormtroopers.
Well, Nazi stormtroopers did exist, but I think that outside
I feel like he just kind of like was like, oh, that's like the word for like scary people.
The most that you can get out of George Lucas is he would say that the rebels are like, he was thinking of them like the Viet Cong.
Yeah, that's the famous quote. He's like, the rebels are Viet Cong, and
Oh,
now
yeah.
you might call them the Al Qaeda or like.
Oh yeah, there's that interview with George Lucas where he says that, and everyone goes like, oh, and
yeah.
he won't explain it or follow it up.
Well, and it's just the best example of like George Lucas having no idea what the hell he's talking about at any moment in time. He's goated. But no, like stormtroopers, like you like on TikTok they're saying like don't dress up as stormtroopers because they represent Nazis. You're doing neo-Nazi cosplay.
It's interesting. I don't
and-
think that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, like, these Disney gays who may very well be on TikTok, I think they would know that, like, calling someone Darth Vader is, like, one of the most cruel things you could call someone. Because he's the leader of the Stormtroopers, and what does that mean?
So, and so we see that. Do we see anything else in Christmas Present?
I'm telling you right now, a woman drops off.
Oh, they take a magical ride through Christmas lights.
That's
Oh,
later. That's
oh
later. That's at
my.
the end. I want to get to the first. I want to get to before that because
Oh.
this is a plot thing,
Okay.
and then we can talk about the Christmas lights.
Okay.
They go.
You wait. The little girl gives them a letter for Santa about the thing. You said that, and she wants
Yes.
a skateboard. You know that.
Mhm.
Yes.
Then somebody drops off donations, and
Yeah.
he decides, I need.
Yeah, he takes the donations from
The
the toy
dad.
box, which is kind of like, okay, like fair because you are someone who needs the donations, but it's also like, dude, like these are for your single mothers at your hospital.
This is a 2-parent household.
Yeah, and also it's like you could have had some foresight and you talked to Toys for Tots or the Salvation Army
Yeah, that's true.
and gotten it
if
yourself.
you're in a bind,
You could have planned, especially if you're gonna just like take like random gifts to give your kid, like because it ends up being like Green Army Man and like a toddler like,
like a
vacuum.
popper, like the little.
Like it's random ass toys that like she's like 9, like she doesn't want the fucking popper vacuum.
Sounds like you guys think the real villain of the movie is not Christmas Karen, but is the young girl with cancer's family.
Yeah, I unfortunately, unfortunately, this movie made me feel so right wing when I watched it. Right, I'm like, maybe they just bootstrapped a little more.
Dan, don't you belong to a church group or something? Like,
Yeah, I just don't understand like why he couldn't have planned to get a toy, like any toy.
I don't know. I thought the bad guy in the movie was nasty.
Karen.
Nasty
It's
Karen.
Karen.
talking to the manager.
Yeah, and so just to clarify, I mean, like, my politics are very left wing, and
You
I
feel like you have to explain yourself.
yeah, and I do understand the plight of poverty, and
Kid with cancer.
of kids with cancer, and I do think that ultimately that child is a victim, and that the parents are a victim of a lot of systematic things that are making the healthcare system a victim of the healthcare system. And guys, there's a lot of
Say that.
bad things in this great country of America, which I love.
Well, and I felt very, very swept over with great pride in our country when they were going through the Christmas lights.
Yes, so they go for the great Christmas light. There's like how long is the intro? Like fucking like 10 minutes.
It feels very long.
It might have not been. It's not as long as like the croquet game
in Santa's summer house.
Santa's Summer House, which we covered last episode. If you haven't seen Santa's Summer House episode, I highly encourage you to watch it because Santa's Summer House was a delight to watch and to cover. So it wasn't as long as that.
With Robert Mitchum's son.
With the son of Robert Mitchum as a Santa Claus. So it wasn't as long as that croquet scene, but it was a very long montage of Christmas lights
And they're in
suburban
like
Florida. They're in a golf cart.
Yes,
They're driving in a golf cart, and she's like, wow, I've never even went to this part of the neighborhood before. I had no idea this was up. And Christmas present was like, yeah, well, you wrote a letter to the HOA, and they're shutting down these Christmas lights because of you. And actually, they're all for charity, and the next charity was going to be that little girl.
Youch.
So Karen made a big issue because she didn't like the light pollution in her neighborhood.
Or like the noise or something?
Yeah, she said it was noise, which was kind of funny. It's like,
she didn't like happiness.
she didn't
Yeah.
like Christmas joy.
Anti-Christmas joy.
She's like the Grinch.
Much like the Grinch.
One
one of her favorite villains.
I see her. I think she's kind of like Ursula.
I think she's like Darth Vader. I think she's
So yeah, does anything else happen in Christmas Present? I don't think so.
No, nothing of note, I think. Like, I mean, like, there's a bunch of, like, just stuff with, like, the Christmas present, Joy, that's the Christmas present's, name. She's, like, just, like, generally annoying, and I don't even feel like really talking about any of her lines or, like...
Damn.
Well, no, because it's like she's wearing, like, her,
Christmas...
rockabilly, like, Christmas...
Rockabilly?
Yeah, it's like she's wearing a dress with it's like rockabilly,
like an orange red lipstick and like,
Yeah.
it's real like retro, and I'm
she's like
why
retro.
are you wearing retro stuff? Like
Your present.
Where's your present makeup with all the contour?
She should be wearing contour.
She should be wearing a Skims dress.
She should be wearing Skims dress
with some Uggs.
With some Uggs.
and a big BBL.
And a big BBL. Merry Christmas.
You know, Karen...
Even though that's out, it's probably still in Florida, so, you know.
Period.
This is true.
Poo. Well, I remember when I went down to Miami, it was during, like, the height of, like, the BBL apocalypse, and we were like, are we going to see, like, a bunch of, like, girls in wheelchairs? Me and Callum, because we were just on the airport.
So, Karen, when she sees... One thing that I do think is important to mention, she slips back into her old ways, because her heart does grow a couple sizes when seeing the plight of that family. She's like, oh my God, someone should help them.
Someone, I don't know who, but someone should.
But she does slip back into her old ways when she sees the dad stealing the toys.
Yeah, she chases him down. She attempts to chase him down, and then she's like, wait, I shouldn't, because, like, I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah, she starts to, like, think, like, I should get the cops called on him.
Yeah, she was literally going to call the cops on him for stealing the toys.
To give to the daughter.
From his organization to give to the daughter.
Yeah.
So it's like he's only, like, kind of stealing.
Yeah, well, yeah, and
it's
so...
it's like context, like girl context.
We're rounding out, you know the story. Karen is, you know, still not completely changed in her ways, but she's like, what can I do? Joy leaves. Who comes in but the ghost of Christmas Future, who in this is named Damon, played by the actor Lee Karlinski.
Yes, and we loved the styling of Christmas Future because
it was very fun.
It was literally exactly like I was like, oh, Christmas Future should be like a punk guy or something.
And it was
and he wasn't a punk guy, but he was kind of like emo.
Yeah,
like,
it's
looking.
like he kind of looked like a teenagery 20-year-old emo guy.
Yeah, he was like a little emo boy.
And every time something kind of scary would happen, he had this like digital skull that would flash over his face. What were your thoughts on Christmas Future?
I liked him. He looked a lot like the I don't know the name of the actor, but the character actor who famously played the ghost that taught Patrick Swayze down the subway how to move things.
Oh,
he looked like a younger version of him. Yeah. So I liked him right away. So I'm like, I meant to look at my phone and be like, oh, is he related? And I didn't do that. So maybe you can check that out later. But I liked his overall look. He had a pleasant look. And I thought he was a really good actor.
he looked like a Pixar character.
A little bit, yeah.
Like kind of cute, kind of, but not, like a... Right, like he would be the loner or something. I liked him.
Maybe also
a good choice for Cal.
I agree.
That's what the punk should have looked like in we recently watched this movie called The Sweet East, which we enjoyed. But the punk in the beginning should have looked more like him.
Oh, I don't know. I think I think they were going for something
fucking completely different.
Yeah. I think they got it pretty much exactly what they wanted in that movie.
Yeah.
Well, this is their idea of like what a death metal guy would look like or something, maybe like kind of like I Am Death, but he looked like a sweet little boy that went to high school with me.
I think they're just going for like an emo, like a little emo boy, like a little because he's like,
well, and he had some good humor as well. The jokes landed with him not as well as with Christmas Past, mind you, but the jokes landed with him a little better than with Christmas Present. Yeah. So he takes her through the Christmas yet to come.
Yeah, and you know the story, guys.
Unfortunately, the little girl doesn't make it.
Yeah, but we also know who else doesn't make it.
Yeah.
And it's
so
Karen.
The first thing we see is the hospital, and Karen's like, the little girl didn't make it, and Karen is, affected by that. And then we see her friends at the coffee shop, and they're talking about some female person who died and no one cares about. And Karen's like, can you believe they're talking about that little girl like that? And Christmas Present's like, yeah, sure. They're talking about the girl. And they're like saying like, oh my God, who's even gonna show up to that funeral?
Yeah, it's that classic. It's like when they're in like the chop shop or whatever in the original.
The chop shop.
Well, no, like when it's not a chop shop, but like
they're at an auto body shop.
No, they're selling like all like in the original Christmas.
Oh, at the
Carol.
auction.
It's not an auction. It's like in like an alleyway, like, or it's like in like an underground like tunnel.
Yeah,
and
they're like
selling
Scrooge's stuff.
Yeah, it's like an underground like selling circle, and they all look like little rat people, and are like, and they're selling all the stuff, and it's kind of like that, but it's like her friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we also see her. So then they also go to the Latino supermarket. Which they mention it's the Latino supermarket, because Karen's like, why would my friends ever shop in the Latino supermarket? Oh my God,
we almost forgot. Karen sees her home, and she sees a family.
Oh, the new family.
Yeah. It's crazy. She really lets the mask slip. She sees a family of, at least in the movie, they refer to them as Mexican immigrants who have bought her house after she's died. She still doesn't quite know that she's died.
Yeah, she just
yet.
thought that she sold her house and like left all of her furniture there or whatever.
And she's like, I can't believe they're here. I can't remember any of her exact words, but I remember going like, oh my God, they're going there.
Yeah, it was awesome. And like, but the family is like just watching A Christmas Carol on TV.
Yeah.
And like one thing, they showed a bunch in this movie of A Christmas Carol playing on TVs in the background. And at first I thought it was like an old like Christmas Carol. Like,
you thought it was the British one.
Yeah, I thought it was just like one of like the public domain ones that they could use. But it seems like they actually filmed themselves like black and white, old timey looking Christmas Carol,
which I thought was a really nice touch.
I thought it was, and at the end they have a shot where they have all the ghosts from the movie.
Yeah. All are in it. I thought that was a really sweet kind of like made me go like, this is a movie that cares. You know, this is a movie that
filled me with. I'm so happy. You know, you can get so jaded watching these movies.
Yeah.
You can get so depressed.
But so she sees
then you
eventually.
See something like that.
Karen comes to find out that she died while making a frozen margarita in her pool.
Yeah.
Which electrocuted her. But she was able to make it out onto the lawn and became like a Florida Man style, like how wacky is Florida, like social media and late night television sensation.
Yeah, and also like she would have survived apparently if the little girl was still alive, because no one saw her on her lawn. Well, people saw her, but they didn't know her. But like the only person that would have like seen her would have been the little girl, because she always plays on the lawn.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, you should have. But also,
but maybe she still wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's already electrocuted. But yeah, she had a pretty graphic death though, right? Like you get electrocuted and you fall on your lawn and you just slowly die from like a heart attack or whatever.
People are walking past you because they just think you're like drunk.
Yeah, they thought that she was drunk.
Yeah.
I love it. It's very Blue Velvet, like the beginning of Blue Velvet.
Yes.
It is kind of on the lawn, like, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, or kind of like kind of John Waters-y.
Yeah, there was some John Waters-y kind of I dare to say it, kind of campy stuff in the movie.
Yeah, some, but yeah, I also just want to say, like, when she goes to the Latino supermarket, and she sees all her friends shopping there, which she's like, why are they shopping at the Latino supermarket? They're like buying like stuff, and they're like buying wine for the funeral, and they're like, oh, don't get this wine, it's too nice.
It's too good for her.
It's too good for her. And they're like, well, she's not going to be there to drink it. And they're like, ah, ha, 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 ha. They're so mean. I'm like, damn.
But then we see Karen in the funeral home. No one has showed up to her funeral. It's very sad. She feels pretty bad and sad.
Also, they put her in a
it.
tracksuit in her casket.
Yeah. That's a funny touch. That's another thing about the movie. It never tips into like a saccharine or too terribly, like whenever there are emotional moments, they do have a twinge of like groundedness or humor to them that never feels like cloying or insincere, but just feels like it's a whole kind of it feels a piece with everything else in the movie.
Yeah, there's no like tonal whiplash, like annoying things.
Yeah, but there is a kind of heartfelt moment where the mother and father of the little girl show up to Karen's funeral, and the brother and his husband show up there, and they kind of connect, and
But also, the parents of a little girl show up.
that's what I said.
Oh. Sorry, I was high. I snorted some cocaine off screen and I forgot what was going on. But no,
they
I
kind
didn't
of
hear
connect.
that. Yeah.
They kind of connect, and Karen says, Spirit, are these the shadows of things that may be or that they will be? She doesn't say that, but says the line that's like that. And
I don't know if she even says that line. I feel like we don't get
just
that
like
line.
wake up.
I think she just like wakes up.
And does
Which, because I love the fucking lines. I love the fucking Christmas Carol lines. So like, I'm tuned in for Christmas Goose. I'm tuned in for like our Visa Spirits. Like when it was like, oh, it was a undigested piece of pot pie. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. That's the line.
Oh, I loved the part where she was like, you'll be visited by Jackie's like, you'll be visited by 3 spirits, and Karen's like, oh. And they're like, not like vodka, not like spirits, like ghosts. Thought that was clever. But yeah, Karen wakes up. She's reborn. She's like, oh my God, I've got the Christmas spirit.
She's bouncing off the walls.
She bounces around the house. She runs up to a boy. She's like, how much can I pay you for your skateboard? And he's like, no, $300.
Yeah, and she looks for her house. She finds $300. She gives it to him, and then she less racistly than normal says like, I love you, Orientals. Right? Isn't that what she
Something like
says?
that.
She
says,
either calls them like Chinese or
she
like
says
I think
something
it's Oriental.
she says, I love the Orientals.
Yes.
Oh,
she says,
wow.
And the little boy kind of gives her a look like, I don't care because you just gave me $300.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me, I was like, that's really funny.
Ava, did you like the way she was finding $100 bills all over her house?
Yes, it was all hidden in random spots. I thought that was very funny.
She rushes
but
to
I liked about the slur,
the racist joke.
the slur that she uses. It's I liked that like she didn't suddenly become like magically not racist anymore.
Yeah,
like
that's
she's
a good
still,
touch.
She's
yeah.
still like unlearning. She's slowly gonna unlearn, her racist behaviors, and maybe in a year she'll realize that word isn't like actually okay to say anymore, unless you're talking about like a style of art or a rug.
But she runs to the store. This is where that strange song, the tourist song, comes in. She's like dancing through the store, and there were a few moments where I wondered if the movie would be a musical.
We were real. Oh my god, yeah. When
Ghost of Christmas Past comes in, the way it's shot, you think he's about to sing.
Yeah, we got really excited because like there was like a kind of like a swell of music, and the way he was kind of talking, it seemed like he was about to start singing, and we got really excited. Like, oh my fucking god, if this is a musical, this is gonna be so good. But it wasn't a musical. But
there is a dance sequence.
There's a very weird dance sequence in the shopping the Latina supermarket where like she's like getting pushed on carts and like
getting like champagne and getting like food.
Yeah,
but
like all the other shoppers are like interacting with her in like this dance sequence.
Yeah,
like I'm saying like I feel like there's a part where she's sitting in the cart and someone's pushing her.
Yeah.
Or something, like there's like all this shit that's happening.
So she goes
and she donates
$5,000 to the homeless single mother's shelter. And that money goes, directly to the husband of the wife, or to the father of the little girl.
What's kind of interesting though is that we never really established that Karen was like very wealthy. So unlike the Scrooge story where you're like, oh, Scrooge has like all these gold coins in his house.
And we know that Scrooge is an old man
and
is going to die of old age.
Yeah,
at some point soon.
He's a banker. He has a lot of money. He can give a lot of his money away at this point. But with Karen, like, we actually don't really know how much money she has. You know, like she kind of has like, I don't know like what the real estate market is in like her area in Florida. So I don't really know how much money she has.
We also don't quite know whether or not Karen went after Jackie died to own and operate the beauty salon,
or what exactly she does. Yeah. So when she's giving away, like $5,000, X, Y, and Z, it reads more like a manic episode than like an overwhelming like, oh, I'm finally feeling the spirit of giving, which you get in like classic Christmas Carol, because it's like, yeah, he has that money to spare.
And I don't think that doesn't work. I feel like it kind of works.
Oh, I think it's funny as fuck that she's manically giving, and it reads like she has like the performance. She has like this crazy like, yes, I'll give you $1,000. I'll give you $3,000. I'll give you $4,000. Like she's so hype.
Yeah.
It actually reads like she's having like a bipolar like meltdown.
So she runs into, or doesn't run into, she shows up at her brother's apartment and has some mimosas with her brother and her brother's husband, and they kind of reconnect.
Yeah, and they actually do it in like a kind of nice way. This is like where the movie gets kind of intelligent, because like you can tell like that he doesn't just like immediately forgive her, but he's kind of like, this is really hard, you know. And I was like, that's nice. Like I like that it's not like, you know, it's not like overly like, you know, like once you make a mistake you just apologize and then everybody's gonna be happy again.
I wish that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
continue. I was gonna say, I just wish, and maybe this is like a little more on the campy side, I wish that when she visited her brother, maybe he was a little more fabulous as a hairstylist still. Like maybe he started his own business or something. And when he showed up, they told her like her hairstyle was very Karen, and they always wanted to tell her to stop wearing eyeliner under her eyes. And I wish they had been like, you know, you need to stop wearing acrylic nails. We want to talk to you about this.
There is
like some sort of arc of a physical makeover.
You should watch like Santa Makeover. What's the movie called?
Oh, A Cool Christmas.
A Cool Christmas, because that has gay characters in it, and Santa gets a makeover.
I thought they were going to do it because she took off her frumpy clothes, and granted it was like a Madewell dress, but at least it was like happy, it was red, and she looked a little more festive, and I thought maybe they'd be like, you know, Karen, we want to talk to you about this hair.
That is a good point. This is the ending really strips a fair amount of the humor out. It's a little, that scene with the brother is probably the least funny scene in the movie, and I think it makes sense
funny,
that it was.
Weird.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that it was, but
if she was like farting and like falling down and like, I don't
does
know.
Karen ever fart in the movie?
I don't know. Maybe
that would have been interesting.
I feel like she did fart, or maybe you farted while we were watching it, and I thought it was in the movie.
Hey now. But yeah, that would have been fun. And then as it wraps up, she comes into the little girl's house and delivers a bunch of collectible vintage dolls and toys.
Here's a critique I have of this movie. They never set up that there's all these, that she's like a collector of like special teddy bears.
They set it
stuff.
up lightly. When she's a little girl, she has this doll, and she's like, why did I take that out of the box? That would have been worth a bunch. But that doesn't read as like Karen is a collector.
Yeah,
that reads
like a
as
throwaway
just
line.
like a throwaway line, and more as a like Karen is greedy.
Yeah.
So as somebody who does have things in boxes still, I guess this is where I fall into the Karen category. So I have Barbies that are in boxes still.
Well, you should fucking sell them.
I'm gonna give a couple of them to my niece, your cousin.
You should have sold them during the Barbie movie boom.
I still have them, but this is what I was gonna get at. Okay. I know a little bit of something about this. Those, first of all, those weren't actual collectible Steiff bears that she was showing, but Steiff bears do retain their their worth. The Hummel figurines and the Beanie Babies. So I think that's almost like a joke in a sense, because that would be something that a Karen would collect, would be a Beanie Baby and a Hummel figure. It's something from our childhood that the Hummel figures. Like I'm younger than her. I'm 51. She's supposed to be 57, I remember.
Yeah.
So her grandmother would have collected those Hummel figures and like always been like, ooh, be careful because they'll be worth something someday, which we know now they're not. And Beanie Babies is something that people of my generation were collecting as young adults.
Yeah, that 90s Beanie Baby boom.
Yeah, we were collecting them. And Ava, you know, you have some of my old or you did have some of my old Beanie Babies. I let you play with them. I never tried to treat them as collectibles. I was
always playing. I like the Bat Beanie Baby, and then I had a Capuchin monkey Beanie Baby. I like both of those.
Ooh.
your Pickles the cat was a Beanie
Yes,
Baby.
my favorite toy of all times was named Pickles the cat. It was an orange tabby cat.
Aw.
And I wrote a song about him, and he was my favorite stuffed animal when I was a kid.
But the Stifes, that's not, that's not Cap. They really do.
Yeah,
like,
I actually
you
am
get money for
aware.
them.
Yeah, I actually am aware of Stife Bears as a collector item. So like, so when I heard that, I'm like, oh yeah, it is a real collector's item. But I guess, yeah, but I guess my issue with the movie was more just the fact that it's like that didn't feel set up to me. Like I wish that we had seen like when we're establishing that Karen's greedy and annoying, like we should have seen the stacks of boxes like in her bedroom or stuff like that. Like like she's more focused on stuff like that and like making meaningful connections at X, Y, and Z. Like that, if you wanted it to be a good movie. But I mean, like this isn't trying to be a good movie. I mean,
Listen, they could have brought it up during the time that we found out the neighbor was an eBay aficionado. She could have been like, oh, I have an eBay store with Beanie Babies or something, like some sort of So
Oh, that would have worked.
Yeah, but so Karen gives the beanie all the toys to the poor family to sell on eBay, and the poor family's like, no, we can't accept this. We'll just split the profits, and they kind of argue about it, and they end up splitting profits. It's like, why? Like your kid, like take the fucking money from this racist white bitch. Like why?
She's trying to lock you up.
Yeah, she literally tried to throw you in jail. Why are you trying to be like, oh, like so,
Karen,
like
Karen, we can't accept this.
These people are so like when they go low, we go high, right?
And we have to talk about Karen also. Then gifts the little girl her gift, a skateboard, and the little girl is like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." And turns the skateboard around, and what's on the back of the skateboard? What's the underside of the skateboard?
Mom, what was the underside of the skateboard? Do you remember?
It was like a titty anime.
That's right. My mom did freeze while she said titty anime.
No.
We lost her. But yes, indeed. Your video was out, but we hear you in spirit, Mom. Yes, it was a titty anime girl. Well, with that,
which was a joke at the end, and then Karen like slips on the skateboard and she's fine, and everybody it's funny. But that was a joke that I was like, whoa.
Mom, turn your video off and on again.
I could not believe it when that happened.
I feel like
Hi.
Yay, you're back. Okay, yay, okay.
But that was a joke that I couldn't believe when that happened.
Yeah, that was awesome. We screamed. We squealed when it happened.
I watched it with my husband. Your dad.
Yes.
We screamed and laughed too. That was a very funny reveal at the end.
Yes.
It was also just like whoa.
It was so random.
Yeah.
It was so random.
Well, because it was such a full circle film and it was funny to the very end. I have to say I would recommend this film.
Yes,
we are all kind of on the same camp about
a good time to transition into kind of the final review and recommendation segment. I have to agree with you. I would honestly, I think in terms of actual quality of movie, coherence, and enjoyability, I think this is the best movie we've watched for this podcast, and I also would recommend it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the best movie we've watched for this podcast.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think it's the best.
It's definitely really high up there. I mean, it was really like funny. The whole thing was very funny. Good concept. Like I thought it was gonna be like, it's weird. I somehow thought it was gonna be like way dumber than it was, which is kind of weird because like you think like, well, obviously it's gonna be dumb. It's Christmas Karen, but like I was shocked by how undumb it was.
Yeah, and legitimately sharp and enjoyable and funny and creative it was, and well acted it was.
Yeah, and decent use of budget.
Yeah.
Like they weren't, because you see, like I'm sure you guys all remember my rant about having a bad Santa Claus beard from last episode. So like certain budget things will annoy me. But this movie, like they use the fuck out of their budget in a good way. They use their locations in a good way. You know what I mean? Like I really felt like they like got their fucking bang for their buck making this movie, and they did good casting.
So, as is customary on the show, we're gonna wrap up our conversation by giving a snowball ranking. You can rank out of 5 snowballs. Ava, we'll start with you. What will you give 2022's A Christmas Karen, directed by John Binkowski and Lisa Smith?
Karen, I have to tell you, I'm giving you 5 snowballs out of 5.
Nice.
I thought this was a really enjoyable movie. It was good as a bad movie, but also good as just a fun movie, which I think makes it a little more accessible. And yeah, they did a good job.
And I'm gonna throw it now to our first ever, our inaugural guest. What is your ranking of A Christmas Karen?
Well, I have to agree with Ava, and I found it surprisingly fast-moving and funny. And I'd give it a 5 out of 5 snowballs.
And I'm going to be backing that up with another 5 out of 5 snowballs for
Wow.
all the reasons
Christmas
expressed.
Karen sweep.
It's a Christmas Karen sweep. I think this is on average probably, and not just because we have a third score on this one as well, but I think this is on average our highest rating so far doing this 3 years running.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at my Letterboxd review, I said, this was amazing, and this is something that maybe I wish had a $50 million budget, because I think it's if we're going to do a morality tale in 2023, it might as well be about a fucking Christmas Karen.
Yeah, exactly.
We are in this TikTok era. Everybody is Facebook live streaming their issues with each other. We need a story about that world that we live in.
I think this film could have had a higher budget cast as well, and it would have done fine. Put Billy Porter in that one spot.
Yeah.
Put Melissa McCarthy in the other spot. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
It was fun.
But also it's the cast held their own. It didn't even doesn't even really need celebrity casting almost, because it was funny.
I'd say in terms of writing, if it had that slightly higher budget and that slightly higher profile cast, this technically, if there were some improvements, is in terms of the writing indistinguishable to me from a Hulu original Christmas movie or Netflix original Christmas movie. In fact, better than some of them.
Yeah, I would agree. So kudos to the writers. Kudos to everyone, y'all.
Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to everyone. We had a great time.
It's a funny time. You can watch it on Tubi for free.
Yeah, watch it on Tubi for free. And Mom, you saw it on Amazon Prime?
No, I watched it on Peacock.
Watch it
on Peacock.
So
It's also on Peacock.
It's also on Peacock. If you're one of the 1 out of 30 people that have a Peacock account, you can watch it on Peacock.
Alrighty, well,
Mom, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on here, giving your white woman perspective on this white woman story.
Yeah, I got it.
That feels like you're taking a shot at her.
I'm not taking a shot at her. It's I'm saying, this is we don't have that voice on this podcast. In terms of diversity.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to be your inaugural guest.
We were also happy to have you, and it was just an absolute ball.
Is there anything you'd like to leave our dwindling and minuscule viewership with before we transition into our discussion on our second film?
Just Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And don't be a Karen.
Boom! That's the perfect
Don't
way.
Be a Karen! Woo!
Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all very briefly for our discussion on the drone that saved Christmas.
Mexicans in my living room! Actually, they're Puerto Ricans.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's the future now.
That's right. Once again, we want to say special thanks to Ava's mom, our first guest.
Yes.
It was really fun to have her on and talk about A Christmas Karen, but it's time to get into our discussion on our second film that we watched, which it comes to us from two of the same writer-producing team of 2020's The App That Stole Christmas, which we watched last year for the show. This is a film from this year, keeping with the theme of a contemporary Christmas. Let's begin our discussion and close analysis on 2023's The Drone That Saved Christmas, directed by Miriam Bavli. Miriam Bavli was one of the writers and the producer of The App That Stole Christmas.
Yeah, well, this movie was quite the journey. We were really excited when we watched the trailer.
Yeah, so we actually turned the trailer off because it seemed
it was going to spoil too many like funny moments.
Yeah, it was showing us a bunch of insane shit that we really liked seeing, and we didn't want to have it all spoiled. And I'm afraid, folks, it was one of those situations where I think it was kind of all in the trailer.
Well, I wouldn't really say that. I think that, a lot of things happened in this movie that were not in the trailer. True. The trailer was incomprehensible, and the movie was also incomprehensible. So
so this was a really difficult to follow movie.
Yeah, so if you remember when we watched The App That Saved Christmas, and I've referenced this movie multiple times.
Hot cocoa as well.
Yes, you do. I have some hot cocoa. We reference this movie on the show quite often. The App That Stole Christmas, because we liked that movie, and that movie was I wouldn't say it was tight, but it was very coherent, and in comparison to The Drone That Saved Christmas, it is like fucking Citizen Kane.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1,000 times more like, oh, I know what's happening.
Yeah,
I know the rules of this world.
Yeah, I had so much trouble understanding what the fuck was going on here, and
I was so insanely
I'll tell you
confused.
one thing: we never really fully understand how the drone saves Christmas.
Yeah, so it's a movie that I think doesn't really understand what a drone is,
what a company is, what technology is.
Yeah, I guess
So here's the first amazing thing about this movie. This movie takes place, I swear to fucking God, it takes place in the same cinematic universe as The App That Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
But there's some differences. So maybe I would say it's an alternate universe.
So I would say it doesn't take place in exactly the same world, but in a very similar world. There are shared commonalities, which I guess we should get out of the way.
Yeah, but shared commonalities, but there are distinct differences that are just so strange that they would make those differences when they could just you know what I mean? Make it the same if you want it to be in the same world as The App That Stole Christmas cinematic universe.
So one of the highlights of The App That Stole Christmas was the performance of character actor Miguel A. Nunez Jr. as Gramps, a grandfather character. And he is back here as Gramps again, basically doing the exact same character and thing. However, his son is different. It's a different family.
Son. It's a different family. And what I realized that if this is the same universe, right? Which it could be, because there's some other similarities that make it seem like it could be the same universe. Gramps is making out like a fucking bandit. He's living at both his super successful sons' houses, part-time.
Both of his sons are tech moguls. The son in the first one was the lead developer and CEO of
Bombazon.
And this guy, there's a quote from the Barry character who used to be the CEO of this big tech company and then went out
sold
on
it
his
for
own.
$100 million.
Yeah, he has this quote where he's like,
They live in a mansion, folks.
I sold my business for $100 million, and I bought it back for $45 million. Wow. And it's wow, we're dealing in some pretty huge numbers.
Yeah, these are some real moguls. But I'm saying Gramps is making out like a bandit because, you would think he lives with his, his son, that's because, his son is taking him, he makes all his money. But he has a secret family, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he also is the father of Bombazon, and he stays there. I'm guessing, half of the week. He's like, oh, I'm going, I'm going to be gone for a few days. He doesn't tell them why, but he's actually at his other son's house enjoying that different mansion.
Yeah. It's really, really strange because
he's splitting his time between mansions, folks.
The other linked cast member is, and we'll get into this when we go into the plot.
If we can manage to get into the plot of this movie.
It's a very confusing movie. There is a Santa in this movie. It's not the same Santa as the app that stole Christmas. This is a white Santa.
Yeah, App That Stole Christmas had a black Santa. It was a white Santa, which is like...
And a decidedly less funny Santa.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of strange because, like...
The one elf, JQ...
It's the same elf.
I believe is an elf. He also is a lawyer in this movie.
Yeah, and he is an elf because there's that one scene where he's dressed as an elf and he's talking to Santa.
And there is, when Santa first chats with Barry via Skype, he mentions, I'll send JQ down. Yeah, but then Barry acts like he doesn't know who JQ is. Anyway, JQ
it's a similar
elf,
thing though, because JQ in the App That Stole Christmas like is a businessman by day, elf by night.
That's right. Yeah.
Kind of.
So and then however, Ray J does not return.
Ray J does not return.
But
unfortunately,
JQ is an elf and seems to be kind of a leadership, an elf in some sort of like leadership or council
position. It's the same thing. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as the App That Stole Christmas, which is weird because it's a different Santa though. So it's like, why wouldn't you just make it a black Santa and then we could kind of be like, oh, like even if you casted a different actor, you know, I'd be like, oh, it's like the same Santa.
Yeah, or it's also like
this is obviously a different Santa.
Yeah,
so I don't know what's going on there. So the cinematic worlds are the same-ish. Maybe it's an AU, alternate universe. You know, I'm not really sure. But the basis of this movie is that our main character, and what is our main character's name again?
His name is Barry. Barry is played by actor Rodney Perry.
Yeah, who's been in a bunch of movies.
Few things.
I mean, most people in this movie have been in a lot of movies. They've been in like some like big movies. They've been a lot of people are in like Medea movies that are in
like streaming movies as well.
Yeah, so you know, he's a real guy, but Barry works at a company B&B drones, and he makes drones. They're toys. One of his clients is Santa, and they kind of just like bring that up in passing sort of at one point.
He works at a drone production place where they make like drones,
like the toy drones, not like you know, Black Ops drones, like
not military drones.
Yeah,
they make like flying drones that I assume have cameras in them and that you control like through an app on your phone.
Yeah,
and he.
Although they never say like, oh, these are like drones with cameras on them.
No,
it's just
they
like
never.
The drones.
They never mention that the
we don't know what
have
drones
cameras.
Fucking do. Okay,
that's the thing. This movie doesn't understand what drones do. They just know that drones can fly, and they have a general idea of what they look like, and they have like CGI drones that are always flying around his office.
The usage of CGI and green screen in this movie is fucking awesome.
It's insane.
If you're gonna watch it, like watch it just for that. But the fucking drones. So he is like a drone maker.
He's got a wife and a son, and his wife
is pregnant.
Sue,
yeah, I think.
His wife Sue, I believe, is pregnant, and he also lives with his father,
which is Gramps. And Gramps
pretty much right from the jump of the movie
tells Barry, and this is where it's confusing because it never really makes sense.
It never gives an explicit. He says to him, son, it's Christmas. You know, you are hard at work on all of these drones and all these orders and stuff, but I think you need to use these drones for a higher purpose. You need to use these drones to help people in natural disasters. You got to use these drones to save the world.
Yeah, the big thing is use the drones to save the world. And I'm guessing, based on like there's one little clip of CGI animation that happens later in the movie that makes me think that the drone's purpose in these natural disasters is to like drop down like medicine or something,
or like deliver aid.
Yeah, aid of some sort.
But here's the thing.
But it's just like a kind of convoluted, like you got to use the drones to save the world.
And thing. He never is specific about it, and Barry is never specific about it. The movie,
but they both know what they're fucking doing.
They both are like, well, we have to do this.
Yeah,
and it gets to the point in the movie where Barry, you know, and we'll get more into this. Now the CEO of the company that he used to own is on phone calls with the leaders of India, Australia, Puerto Rico, and he's talking to them and saying, we'll deliver these drones to help you. And they'll be like, you are saving our many people.
There are no casualties now. Like, that's one of the lines.
Can we get 500 drones,
One of the
please?
lines is, thank you, there are now no casualties.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Like, what? Like, what do you? How do
No
you think
one-
that aid works?
No one
Like,
ever explains what the drones do, and the
it's-
drones
it's
that we see,
infuriating.
the drones that we see don't like have like grabby arms. They don't like carry packages.
Well, there's literally just one shot, and I'm not sure if you saw because you might have been making yourself something to eat or getting water at this point. But there's one shot where a CGI drone is going up above like this group of like cheering like children, and it has like a first aid symbol on it.
Okay.
So that
Does it have anything attached to it?
no.
It's just a red cross on a drone.
They refer to these drones in this movie as rescue drones,
They
which
call,
is
yeah, they
also
call them
confusing.
disaster relief drones.
but also rescue drones.
What do they do?
We
do
don't
they
know.
do they help
but
people
Graham-
out?
but
One of the
they-
natural disasters that specifically
flood?
is a flood. Do
There's
they,
a flood over all of India apparently.
or it's not over all of India,
They
but
say like it's like
they
like,
act like it is.
They act like
basically.
it's the entirety of India just got flooded, and there's
'Cause
floods
the-
all over the world. Like there's this whole like theme of like global warming and like like all the floods and the
Natural
hurricanes and
disasters,
they say
yeah.
it very casually, and I'm like, is this supposed to like be like a heightened version of now, or is this like how the director really feels? Like, wow, things are always like fucking crazy every day
I don't know what.
because it's really heightened.
The lead confusion
You would think
of this
that
movie.
the apocalypse is happening around the world,
The-
but it's fine where they live.
The lead confusion of this movie is that it's never explained what the drones are doing. It's just known that Barry needs to use the drones at the behest of his father and his
Yeah,
secretary, who's his wife's childhood best friend, Ray.
Yeah, but
That he needs to use these drones to help people in natural disasters somehow.
yeah, but so then the other convoluted thing about it is that Gramps is like, you have to keep this a secret from your wife.
Yes. He's like, you can't have your wife. No, she's got the. He never gives a
reason.
clear reason. He just says she's got the baby and Christmas is coming and you've got all this other work to do. She's gonna get upset if she finds out you're using these drones to help people in natural disasters in some undefined way.
And he's like, I will be a distraction.
Yeah, I'll help out. Me and Ray, your wife's friend, who's also your secretary, will distract her and make sure she doesn't find out about this. And
Yeah.
Barry is always like, he seems very resistant to it at first, but then he
does it though, and I mean, Santa sends him like a video message
Yeah.
that's like,
oh my god,
I'm
it
glad
was
that
so
you're doing
awesome.
this with the drones.
He
And it's
sa-
like, whoa, I
Santa's-
didn't know nobody talked to Santa.
Santa's message is actually so randomly Barry gets on Zoom with Santa and Santa's
Yeah,
like, Barry,
it is
thanks.
not at all built up. Well, it's kind of weird. I feel like there's all these passing comments about like elves. They're like, we have to make more elves. Or
yeah,
like,
we have to get more elves out. We need to get some reindeer out. And I don't know what
I
that
don't know
means.
what that like. I'm like, is he working like directly for Santa? Like, it's like said so like
Are
passingly
these like
and casually.
mechanical elves?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were talking
Because
about like a toy that they made.
We see Santa's elves.
yeah.
JQ is a Santa's elf, and then there's that Shade, that other elf, who's and Star, the elf that complains about Shade.
It's really confusing because I don't know like what their like relationship with Santa was, and I feel like that's really important
But-
if you get on Zoom with Santa
Yeah.
in your movie.
He gets on Zoom with Santa and he says something like, "We got the elves coming, we've got the order of drones coming," and Santa's like, "Great, thanks, Barry. But I want you to know something, Barry. I'm not calling about the orders. I'm calling because I'm Team Gramps."
Yeah.
He says, "I'm Team Gramps. I want you to use these drones to help the world." And Barry's like, "All right, it's Christmas. I'm gonna use these drones to save the world."
Yeah. So meanwhile,
It sounds ridiculous talking about it.
yeah, and again, it's like I can't really even stress enough how confusing it is with like when you're talking about the elves and when the Santa thing happens, because like when you talk about the elves and reindeer, you're like, oh, maybe they're also like make toys, or maybe it's a toy manufacturing company,
or maybe it's like maybe this is like some sort of robot.
Yeah, you don't get the sense. You never really get the sense that they work directly for Santa very often in a very like casual, like in-world way.
No, yeah, because you
'cause
get
it
the
also-
sense that Santa has his own operation. He just gets a few things from Barry's company,
Santa's working with like Blackwater or
BlackRock.
BlackRock.
Um,
Yeah, it's very strange. Then simultaneously, there is another company that's also a drone company, right?
Yes, yeah.
But it's the company
Yeah.
that Barry used to own before he sold it.
He used to be the CEO, and then there's now this new CEO.
And the CEO was like a total like asshole like had I actually really liked his performance.
Yeah, I thought he was fun.
It was making me laugh.
I'm trying to remember his name.
He starts like this like board meeting, like holding like a golf club and like practicing his golf swing.
Yeah.
And he's like belittling everyone, and he's really funny. He's like really, really funny in the scene. But it's also like incomprehensible. Like where are we? Who are you? What's going on? How is this the same? Like when I was watching it, and maybe there was a line that explained this and I missed it. So I'm gonna give the movie a benefit of the doubt. But when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, is this Barry's boss?"
Yeah, I couldn't
I
tell
thought
if
it
this
was
was
the same
Barry's
company.
like lead competitor or who it was. And
But he was basically like, we have to like get all. He was just sort of like buy money or get money to make a yacht.
make a yacht.
But like to have like the cover of like saving children.
Yeah, he was like, I need to make a yacht, and then everybody's like, what do you need a yacht for? And he's the rest of the board is like, what do you need a yacht for? And he says, oh, to get the gifts to kids for Christmas. Let's get on the yacht project.
Yeah. And he has this one female worker who he's like, oh, you're my fave. You're my best girl now. Go get me
my food.
My food. And then we enter into this
very
brief
strange
and
brief
random scene, which was definitely anti-Semitic. I think by accident. Like I don't think like they
It
knew
had ill intent.
how anti-Semitic and
But
weird
it was a rabbi was selling potato knishes out of a
food
knish food truck.
Yeah, and like he's doing like a voice. I don't know if the actor's Jewish, so I don't know like what I can even say about his voice that he uses in it. But
it feels very like
it's just weird. It's
strange.
It's
and
just
the woman,
really weird.
The woman who works for the new boss at Barry's old company, asks like, Rabbi, can you put a curse on his food?
Yeah, and it's like, do the people who wrote this movie think that like Jewish people like do
curses?
and like that feels anti-Semitic.
Yeah, that's.
But also it feels just very like ignorant. Like they had no idea what they were talking about.
Just like, why is this?
In the scene,
why is this happening?
And it never comes back. Like
No.
he's not like a character in it for any horror movie,
Nope.
so it's like a weird scene that they even put into it.
He is in 2 minutes of the hour and a half movie that would just not end.
But yeah, but and it seemed that like that scene they would have done it with like any culture.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and maybe because it was a Christmas movie, they're like, oh, since it's Christmas, we should have like a Jewish like like not a good look, guys.
Yeah, I don't think it was done with malicious intent, but I do think that it comes off offensive.
It's very offensive and very strange. And we were watching, we were kind of
we both went.
We were like, so like, what is this?
Where's this going?
Yeah. So that just happens, but he's nice. He gives her like an extra knish in the bag.
He does a free knish.
So he's not all bad in terms of stereotypes, I guess.
But then so there's like this plot line that gets started up with Barry's son who wants a drone.
Yeah. I don't even know if this happens next, but this happens at some point.
He doesn't want a drone for any specific reason. The reason he states is he thought it would help him and his friend get better at soccer.
Yeah.
And it's not said like so that we can get aerial footage of us and watch us
they just,
play.
Like, take
they
the
just
drone.
say we want it to help us get better at soccer.
It's very strange.
This is my theory that I don't think anyone involved in the creation of this movie knows what they think a drone
is.
What they have this idea of a drone. They know it flies and they know it can do something and they are like it can do. It's a drone. Like, let's use the drone to help us get better at soccer. Let's use the drone to save the world. Santa needs the drones. Like,
yeah,
the drone that saved Christmas.
It's very strange. I do like though about like okay, so like the little boy goes to steal the drone, and this happens throughout like multiple scenes.
Yeah, this is a little later on.
I don't even know if this happens like next in the plot, but this is one of the plot lines.
Yeah.
But he has like his little friend
steal
it with him,
little friend.
and I like the casting of the little friend. It's like a bad little kid. Like that kid looked bad. Like it was like a little white kid, and like I saw him, and I'm like, yeah, you look like a bad little kid that's gonna steal something.
Yeah.
So I liked that.
So Barry is we've mentioned that one of the people that's in on the plan with Barry and kind of helping him distract his wife as well as helping him develop the drones is his
secretary,
wife's childhood and lifelong best friend who got a job as his like secretary assistant,
yeah.
and
And-
she is like kind of like I think supposed to be kind of like a flirtatious type.
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, because she wants to fuck that elf.
JQ the elf.
JQ the elf.
Who's I think a singer. So these films, The App That Stole Christmas and The Drone That Saved Christmas,
They're produced by
they're
a
produced
record
by like
label,
a
right?
like some sort of music business out
Can
there.
you imagine?
And I believe JQ is one of their artists.
Hey,
I think we listened to some of his music last year.
Hey, dude, do you want to go out to the bar tonight? I feel like we should get lit tonight and have a great time. No, my record label needs me to act in like this Christmas movie.
Yo, JQ, I've got a DP for a video shoot. Do you want to do a video shoot for your new song? Actually, I'm booked up. I'm playing an elf in
My record label.
The App That Stole Christmas.
Yeah, very, very strange.
Which is also, I think, how Ray J got involved in the first one. There was another musical artist in the first one as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, so like about secretary.
Ray. Her name is
Okay.
Ray.
Okay. No, I'm saying like
Okay, regarding.
regarding Secretary Ray. If you are keeping a random weird secret from your pregnant wife, why would you loop in your secretary and wife's longtime best friend who is hotter than your wife?
Why also, when
why
questioned,
would you loop her in?
Why also, when questioned by your wife, why are you texting Ray so late at night? If you work with her, would you not just show her the texts that they're all about your business?
It's all business related. And
Why do you go like, what are you talking about?
Why do you think about Ray? I'm not thinking about Ray. Like lines like it's like, what are you talking about?
It's
Like,
like-
why are you getting defensive? Like, just say
This
like,
is gonna make your wife think you're cheating on her with Ray.
which is way worse than your wife thinking that you're programming drones to
to help-
rescue Puerto Rican children.
yeah, help the world in
Like-
some way.
Like, how is that a better? Like, how is it a better option for your wife to think that you're cheating on her?
yeah,
I just because Gramps put his fucking nose in it and is like, you can't tell your
you can't
wife.
tell your wife. You can't
Side
tell your
note,
wife.
This was kind of an issue in An App That Stole Christmas, but it's worse than this one. They love casting Gramps
Yeah,
as
so
an old person and then also casting someone who looks 10 years younger than him.
so we looked up Miguel Nunez Jr.'s age. He is in his like mid 50s,
Yeah.
and
He was born in
looks-
1964.
He looks at most 2 or 3 years older than the man that plays Barry.
Yeah, he honestly he looks like kind of
Maybe
young for
younger,
his 50s.
yeah.
Yeah, and he looks younger than his son in the movie. The only thing that makes him look quote unquote older is that they have like gray hair powder in his
Yeah,
hair
yeah.
that sometimes in some scenes looks fine, but in other scenes it's
It
so
looks kinda
insanely
spotchy.
patchy.
Yeah.
You know, it's and they put the gray in his eyebrows. It's bad.
But
It's
I
like,
do want to say
just
similar.
cast someone younger for the son. If you because because Gramps is obviously the standout performance.
I was gonna say outside
You gotta have
of
Gramps.
outside of the Chaos or
Mhm.
Chaos or whatever his name.
Yeah.
They called him Chaos, and his name sounded kind of like
But
Chaos.
it was like Kiwas.
Kiwas, the other boss that takes over Barry's old company. Gramps, similar to The App That Stole Christmas, is every time he's on screen, it's like Riff City. I mean, he's super
good.
funny.
He's good. He's super funny. I mean, he's not perfect, but he's super funny.
yeah,
But
it's
obviously, he's like the one that you want to have in your movie
Yeah.
cast. And it would make sense to cast like a slightly younger guy because this is a guy who's like recently started a family.
yeah,
He has one 9-year-old son and one
Yeah.
baby on
he's
the way.
he's in tech.
He's in tech. Cast someone who's like 30.
Yeah. No, I think
You know, like I don't understand why they're set on casting this old man to play the younger son of this like middle-aged guy.
yeah, I don't know. It's
so bizarre.
It's like they're clearly like, we want to use Miguel as Gramps
Yeah.
again, and they're like, let's just get I don't know.
Miguel is so good at Gramps.
Well, and he is good at Gramps, but you know,
It's so funny.
it is funny.
Maybe,
Maybe make Miguel the lead. I feel like he'd be more fun to watch.
but he wouldn't be able to do his Gramps thing. If
That's
he was playing
true.
it. Like I don't know like if he can do like I haven't seen his other. I mean like I've seen other movies that he's been in, but I don't remember seeing him in those movies.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so like I don't really know.
He's in the James Gunn. It's not directed by James Gunn, but James Gunn wrote it. Scooby-Doo live action movie.
Yeah, I don't really know who he was in that.
I don't think he had a speaking part.
Yeah, I think he's done like a lot of background stuff. Because he has like 68 movies on his
But he's in a lot of stuff. He does
Yeah.
like a lot of like streaming and like cable movies.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
stuff.
like he's an actor. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that he's a bad actor. I'm just saying like I don't know if he could hold his own as like the lead.
As the lead.
I think he like does his Gramps thing.
And he's best used in something like that.
Yeah, and he's really funny. I mean, like, you know, for what we're getting, I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
That being said, just cast someone who looks 30. Like it was a problem in An App Until Christmas, but it's so much worse in this one.
Yeah.
Like the App Until Christmas actually looks like realistic now.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
Well, and I'd also say that
They should have, you know, who they should have had as being his son, Michael Jr.
from Selfie Dad.
from Selfie Dad,
Not
a Christmas movie,
not a
but-
Christmas movie, but a Christian movie.
but a Christian movie.
You know, if our podcast takes off and we have to
do non-Christmas
non-Christmas movies because we're making money off this thing one day,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we'll do a Selfie Dad retrospective episode.
Yeah, that's quite the film.
But I guess like so. Okay, so there's the wife starts to suspect that something's going on
Because
with
he's texting
Barry and Ray.
late at night.
late at night.
There's also
He has like a lawyer. So Santa sends JQ to be Barry's lawyer, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And so JQ is in the mix, and Ray is flirting with JQ, and they
So,
get
like,
like kind of cozy.
Here's the confusing thing. Barry knows that Santa is real, and he
Yeah.
FaceTimes Santa. But for some reason, JQ doesn't directly disclose to Barry that he is an elf for Santa.
Yes, and we do see later that in the world of this movie, not just in the app that's still Christmas, but in the world of this
He
movie,
is an elf.
JQ is an elf. He's wearing the
He
hat
wears the
and
elf
talks
and
to
talks
Santa.
to Santa in that one scene. So it's like he is an elf, and he was sent by Santa to do something.
And Santa mentions
And-
sending him to Barry over Zoom.
But like it's very clear that Barry like doesn't know that he's like an elf, because like remember like when he decides to hire JQ on his team.
Yeah.
And JQ kind of quiz like, I have other projects that I work on. He's like, he's referring to being an elf.
Being
He's
a
an
Christmas elf.
He's a Christmas elf. He's an elf. He's an elf for Christmas. But it's like, Barry, you should know this. He has to go to the North Pole.
Yeah, Santa told you that JQ works for him.
And it's like, why are you poaching Santa's employees?
Yeah, one of Santa's top guys, JQ.
It's really, really weird.
But so JQ joins the team. Wife is suspecting there's an affair going on with the Ray secretary friend character.
Yeah,
Then
totally justifiably, in my opinion.
yes, and so then there's this whole arc where Barry.
Although, here's the one thing that isn't justifiable about it.
Okay.
When she's like, why? So she looks for his phone
Yeah.
because he's texting late at night, right? She looks for his phone, and like she sees that Ray was texting him, but she doesn't read the text between them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, girl, just read. You will know what they're texting about. That's the one thing that's like, okay, like you didn't do your due diligence.
If you're
as
going
a
through
sneaky
the phone,
girlfriend.
if you're going through the phone,
Read the text, send
Read
yourself
the
the
texts.
screenshots, delete the evidence.
or also don't do any of that. Like if she were to read the texts, she'd see they're talking about fucking drones.
yeah, they're
They're
not
talking about the
they're
job
not,
that they
they're
have together.
not flirting.
No. She's flirting with JQ though.
Ray is flirting with JQ.
Yeah, Ray's flirting with JQ though.
Ray hardcore flirts with JQ. Okay, so like plot stuff.
There's this whole thing where the board ousts
Yeah.
other boss, the goofy boss.
Barry pitches the rescue drones,
And we don't
to
hear the
board.
pitch.
Well, yeah,
They put music over a
and-
montage of the pitch.
Yeah, and it's like montages of like drones flying and kids clapping and Barry talking about the pitch, but like we don't hear what he's saying. And it's
Which
like, no,
I think it would be important because I have no
I have
idea
no
what
idea.
the
It's like,
drones are doing.
We're on the edge of our seats trying to figure out what the fuck these drones are supposed to do.
It's really maddening. The two
Yeah.
core things about this movie, what's driving Barry and Gramps and Ray, and then the B plot of Sue like thinking that Barry's having an affair with Ray, both of them are completely incomprehensible.
Yeah.
And then there is a point in the movie where it takes a turn into completely like, what the hell is happening? But we're not quite there yet. So Barry pitches the world-saving disaster relief drone to his old company, and they like it so much, and they get the U.S. government involved, that they're putting Barry back in charge of the company, and they're ousting the crazy yacht-wanting boss.
Yeah. And so on Barry's first day in the office, Like, he goes in the office, he takes his fingerprints to get his executive pass. The security guard is like riffing with him, like, yeah,
Who
you're
I
back
think
in the
was
office.
in the app that stole Christmas.
Yeah, I think he was the security guard in the app that stole Christmas. I'm not sure about. I have to check.
Yeah, I don't quite recall.
He just seemed familiar.
He was a very familiar face.
Yeah, and like when they first cut to him, they cut to him in a way that's like, you know who this
Who
guy
this guy
is.
is. Yeah. Which isn't necessarily, I don't think they made this movie necessarily 100% assuming that everybody watching it would have or should have seen The App That Stole Christmas, but the cut had the implication of, you're gonna love this guy.
Yeah.
I mean?
And so he's doing his like jokes. And they go in, Barry leaves to go up to his office, and this other security guard walks over and he's like, do you have a visual that
do you have visual confirmation?
Yeah, visual confirmation that chaos has left the building. and the security guard's like, I think I saw him. I don't know.
I saw him leaving with office supplies.
But I didn't like see him. Like, he's doing like this whole like bit, I guess.
Playing dumb.
I don't know. Like but then he's like, where's my duct tape? I need my duct tape.
Kind of an emblematic example of the way the pacing and the humor and the writing of this movie works is Barry goes up to his office after the seed has been planted that the guy, that boss, is probably still in the building and might be seeking retribution against Barry.
Yeah.
Barry hears a weird noise and he says, is that someone? Ray? And then in comes Ray, the secretary. They talk for like 30 seconds and then she goes and then he hears the sound again and he's like, what is that? Is somebody here? And then he gets jumped by the old boss.
Yeah, but the jump, it's so funny though, because the jump fails. Like, so like the boss is like hiding behind like this like curtain closet situation, and Barry like walks past him, and as soon as he walks past,
and he's got a ski mask on,
and as soon as he walks past, then Chaos jumps out, but he misses him because he already walked past and falls down in slow motion.
Yeah, and then suddenly the entire office, like all the board members, the security guard, Barry and Ray are all over top of him, and they're like, Mr. Chaos, more like Mr. Dumbass, and they bleep dumbass.
Yeah, and the security guard duct tapes his hands because he doesn't have handcuffs.
And he loves duct tape.
And he's like, I love duct tape. And it's like, okay, I guess that's your joke. That's the joke that you're doing.
Strange joke, not very funny.
That's the joke you're going with. And they send him to the fucking loony bin.
Yeah, they put him in the funny farm. They actually put him in a mental hospital.
Like, you're going to a mental hospital and then you're going to jail.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, he didn't even like hurt anyone.
I'm assuming it was a deleted scene. It was in the
credits.
credits sequence when they were showing some outtakes as well as some deleted scenes. They shot footage of him in a padded cell with a straitjacket on.
They should have had that in the movie. But also it's like, he didn't really like commit any like serious crimes.
I think this was just like a regular like his
crimes are like trespassing and like attempted something. We don't know what he was
hitting.
I don't know what the attempt was, but I feel like he would have to like he was like CEO of a company. He can definitely bail himself out. So
yeah,
like
he's got some sort of money.
I feel like the only thing that could really lock him up for like immediately is the trespassing, but the attempted murder, I'm assuming, is the big charge they could get him for.
Yeah, maybe.
That would probably go to trial, and I think he would be able to bail himself out.
But they made some line. They were like, he's mentally unstable, and so they lock him up.
But it's like, is he mentally unstable?
I don't know.
I think that he was just like kind of pissed off.
But then Barry, he gets to work. That was his first day. It was a crazy first day.
Yeah.
He gets to work. He's having meetings with the heads of the Bahamas, of Australia, of Puerto Rico, Senegal, and of India, because there was a flood in India.
Oh, yeah.
And Gramps brings this up to Sue one day.
This is really important to know. Okay, so Sue and Ray were best friends in high school, and they had a third best friend named Misha. And Misha is Indian and lives in India now as like a doctor, right?
Yeah, she's a doctor.
Okay.
She lives in Mumbai.
So Gramps says, so they're watching on the news that there's floods in India, right? And Gramps goes, didn't you have a friend who was Chinese but lived in India?
And Sue's like, no, she was from India.
She wasn't Chinese.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, whatever. Where's she from? She's like, well, she lives in Mumbai. Bombay. Why'd you say Mumbai?
You just like that.
You just like that.
Sounds better.
You just like that. It's like what are you even what are we talking about right now?
And then
like what is going on?
And then like she's like, oh my god, I know it's far away from the
but
flood
I
is
need
happening
to make sure that Misha's
but
okay.
I need to call her and make sure she's okay. And Graham starts going like, What are you worrying yourself about all that with? You're pregnant. You don't need to do that.
Stop it. Don't call her. Don't call her.
And it's
He's like,
no, call. What?
just call your friend.
It's fine
Jesus.
to call her.
Jeez, it's so weird. But anyhow,
So Barry is on the phone with the heads of all these nations who don't have names or titles. There's no like presidents, prime ministers, kings. There's no mention of who these people are.
He's like, hello, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he'll just be like the Bahamas is like, Mr. So-and-so, we need 500 drones. And he goes like, Bahamas, I gotta be honest, that's a lot of drones, but we have the help of the Pentagon and we're gonna make it work.
The Prime Minister of India is a woman, and she has a line where she's like, you are the lion.
Yeah, you are the lion of technology.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Who wrote this?
But so while Barry and Ray are having these meetings, Sue is really starting to have a breakdown. She's seen all sorts of weird texts. Her husband has been super cagey about what he's spending all this time with and texting Ray about.
And then what she sees the TV that, like, you know, that he's now the CEO of the company that he sold in the past. And she's like, he told me that he would never go back to that company. He lied to me.
Everyone's lying to me. So she leaves these really like angry kind of scorched earth phone messages.
Yeah, like I'm taking the kids. I'm going to my mom's house.
Ray, never talk to me again.
Yeah, you're a fake friend. I know I'm not stupid. I know you want my husband. Like, fair enough. Like, girl, I would do the same thing.
And she passes out.
Yeah, and she slow motion passes out, falls on the kitchen floor.
And when she comes to, the movie takes the most bizarre turn.
And this is probably at like the hour mark of the movie, which is so crazy.
Yeah, it's like an
insane moment. When she comes to, she is in the pink candy-colored salon of Santa's workshop.
That's right. And Mrs. Claus is there, who is styled in a way that is unrecognizably Mrs. Claus.
Yeah.
She's got like you cannot it's like she's got like jewels on her. Like this I saw it. I was like, who is this?
Oh yeah, she had like weird like little stick-on jewels on her forehead.
Yeah.
Like
and she's wearing like a pink like blazer.
Yeah.
And she's got this like big blonde blowout.
Yeah,
and she's also there with like
no hate to this actress.
Yeah,
but like
it's kind of low effort.
She does well, not even that. Like she doesn't like when you think of like Mrs. Claus, you think of like this warm, friendly old woman. You know, the gray hair and like a nice warm smile and maybe glasses or something. But she looks a little broke down.
Youch.
She has like
between you and the prior segment on
on the
Christmas Karen. This is like our
parents of sick children.
This is our Fashion Police episode.
No. I'm not even saying this in the Fashion Police way. I'm saying like the casting was just so like she just look. I can say this as someone who also has an overbite. She had like this overbite where like it made her teeth look really jacked up in the front with like the ridges on the front of her teeth. I have that too. So like I understand, but like in tandem with everything, I'm like, damn, like this does not look like Mrs. Claus, y'all. I don't know who this girl is. This looks like this looks like if you're in like a scary movie and someone was pretending that they're Mrs. Claus.
She's there with a bunch of
so she's with Rudolph the Magic Fingers.
Yeah, Rudolph the Magic Fingers, who is an elf, or maybe he's a Nook or a Rill.
Maybe he's a Nook, but I think he's giving Nook. He
is wearing like a pink
but
vest
he's
and
a masseuse.
tie.
He's
like a masseuse.
That's where the Magic Fingers comes in. If you use it takes a little brain power to realize that like, okay, he's the masseuse.
She's also there with an elf named Star, who's played by a little person.
Yeah, who is very familiar. I do not know what fucking like property she has been on.
As well as a little girl elf named Candy, I think.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then a bunch of elves come in, and Mrs. Claus is like,
there's a hot elf named Champagne.
Yeah, there's a hot elf named Champagne, and Champagne is handing out CBD popcorn.
Yes.
So Mrs. Claus is like, Sue, come to. I'm here to help you relax. Welcome to my spa. Enjoy some CBD popcorn. Have some CBD lemonade.
So this goes back to like the relationship with Santa and this company. She's like, this is where our best, like, did you say like clients?
Yeah,
Like our
clients
our
because, but
best
also
whatever
Star is an
go.
elf, and Star is there because she needs to calm down because of the whole situation with the other elf,
Oh my god!
Shade.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Like, what was this tangent?
So the tangent,
But I'm saying, like, how does this thematically relate to anything that has happened in this fucking movie?
it felt like the soldier's story and the discreet charm of the bourgeoisie. it suddenly Star is like, let me tell you about this this incident that
this
happened at
nook.
the toy stop, the toy factory or the
Yeah.
workshop, and it's about this like elf that wears sunglasses named Shade.
Yeah. So
who's
Shade
like a
also
goofball elf who's always goofing off, and it annoys Star, but
To
he's
me,
convincing
Shade-
the
okay.
other elves that he has like he can get them FaceTime with Santa.
Yeah, like one-on-one time. To me, Shade looked like the Kanye clone.
The person that they're trying to convince us is Kanye West right
yeah,
now.
like I don't believe in this conspiracy theory.
Yes,
Obviously,
it's
like
a
just
conspiracy. Crazy people.
yeah, just to clarify, I don't actually believe in this, but like
When people describe why
Kanye has had-
Kanye might be a clone.
yeah, Kanye has had, you know, some severe physical facial changes. Probably has to do with his medication and stuff. And I guess has been wearing
or like even a surgery.
yeah, and so there's some photos where he looks really tall and kind of different.
Yeah.
And that's what this elf looked like to me.
Anyway.
And I'm like,
so,
that's who they got. That's who they got.
So
He's a
Shade,
Kanye clone.
Shade like goofs off and he's like telling all the other elves like, if you guys make 20 toys, I can get you time with Santa. And then we cut to JQ talking with Santa, and he says, Santa, we got to do something about the Shade situation. And Santa's like, I understand that.
We have to use a lot of wisdom in this case.
Shade is one of my oldest elves.
Yeah, and also JQ, is that his name?
Yeah, yeah.
JQ is also like, I think we need to put him in elf jail.
Yeah, JQ is like, I think it's time we start considering elf jail.
Santa's like, no,
Santa's like, I'm not gonna do that. And so JQ like gives Shade a talking to.
I think like the mention of elf jail is what put Star
off on the Shade
this tangent.
tangent.
Yeah, because someone like casually like, oh, elf jail, and everybody's like, not gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't even put our worst elves into elf jail.
But so then like
it's like, what does that have to do with anything?
JQ gives Shade a stern talking to, and Shade says something like, JQ, could I be able to talk to Santa by any chance? Like, is that supposed? Okay, so we're supposed to like get like he's offering this to the other elves, but he can't even get it himself. Like, I don't know. What do I get from that?
It wasn't even JQ that had to talk with him. It was like another random elf.
JQ
like a
has a
beard.
talk with him, but then the guy with the beard is like, let's,
Oh yeah. What?
I can't remember.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. You looked off like stuff like happened.
No, I'm good. But
Are you
anyway,
good?
yeah, I'm good.
I mean,
This
you know, if
movie
you
was
aren't
so
okay,
bizarre.
you can tell me if you're not okay.
But so then we cut back to the salon, and Mrs. Claus is like, let me show you some stuff, Sue. And she shows Sue a video of
Montage.
like, this is what's Barry's been doing. He's been trying to help the world.
yeah.
Ray is not interested in Barry. This is what they've been working on. Ray is in fact into JQ. This is them flirting.
Yeah.
This is why Barry is at the company again. Like all that stuff. And
Yeah.
Barry loves you.
Yeah, and so Sue is like actually tripping off of the CBD popcorn.
Yeah, she
and
gets
she's
kind
like,
of loopy.
oh my god, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Like she's acting like she's like drunk or high.
Yeah.
Yeah, CBD. When you're pregnant, that CBD popcorn be hidden different.
I bet.
And Mrs. Claus gives her some for the road.
Yeah, she gives her some CBD popcorn for the road. And
So when
then
she comes to,
Sue comes to, she's in the hospital.
so it's similar to, so that's kind of similar to like the logic in An App That's Still Christmas, right?
Yeah, that it's like, was this whole Santa stuff like
he
a
got
dream?
knocked out, but it isn't a dream. Like it's decidedly not a dream, but
Yeah.
like it happens when you get knocked out.
Yes,
When you
yeah.
fall down.
When you fall down, you go to Santa's workshop. JQ is some sort of interloper figure.
They seriously need to get Michael Jr. in one of these movies. I think he would kill it.
I mean, I bet he'd do well,
He would kill it.
Yeah.
He needs to be like.
He was pretty funny in Selfie Dad, even though I think Selfie Dad is like, kind of like a backwards movie.
Selfie Dad is like. It's indescribable. of a film.
Yeah, we watched it because we thought it would be fun.
Well, the first 10 minutes is like the
very
funniest
fun.
shit you've ever seen in your
And
life.
Michael Jr.'s legitimately pretty funny. He was like a stand-up in the 90s, and it shows.
We're
he
always
was pretty
quoting-
good.
Or was quoting some of his Michael
Yeah,
Jr.
he's got
work.
some zingers in Selfie Dad.
Can I call a white duck a quacker? That's the one Michael Jr. joke. If I'm friends with a white duck, can I call him a quacker?
He has this
What
one
is
where
it?
he's like,
It's like something like that.
whenever I'm around my atheist friends, I sneeze around them just to see what they're gonna say.
I like see, you know, those jokes are fine and all, but I've always been partial to the quack
To the duck one.
to the duck one. Because it makes, like, when I hear it or when I think about it, it actually starts to like make me feel insane.
But so Sue has the child. As she
gives
comes
birth.
to in the hospital, she starts to
Feel the pangs of labor.
and Barry runs to get the doctor. Ray runs to get the baby bag, and
And she squirts out a baby.
Yeah, she goes into labor. She delivers the child. It's a beautiful little girl named Hope.
Yeah, we get one shot. So in terms of
One
how much
stock
how much baby we're gonna see, we get one stock footage of a newborn with all the newborn crust on it, which is good. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
it-
that's a
that's
fucking
a fresh baby.
That's right out of the fucking oven. That's a real ass baby.
Yeah.
But then we never see the baby again, like at all. Like they
Yeah.
don't even try.
No,
They
no.
do not even try.
It's just like a pile of blankets.
too much work.
Yeah. So
I love it when something reads as, yeah, that would be too much work.
the ending of this movie is the most like prolonged thing ever. So the baby's delivered. You think it might be the ending because everybody shows up.
Yeah.
All the friends and family are there. The kid's there. The kid's like, Dad, we stole your drone. I'm sorry.
And dad is like, I'm really angry at you, but it's Christmas.
yeah.
Even though, like, apparently he has like 500 of these drones.
He has 500 of these drones. He also
Like, it's not like oh my god, like I only had one drone. Like, so with the kid drone plotline, I thought that how it was gonna work out was that at before he acquired the company, they were gonna be like, oh, Barry, we can't sign the papers until we have proof that the drones exist. Where's your prototype of the drone?
Yeah.
And he's like, where's the prototype? What happened to it? And he doesn't know where it is because the kid
That's
stole
what
it.
I thought
'Cause
too.
that
I thought it was gonna
it's
screw
dumb,
up
but
his
it-
job.
Yeah, it's dumb, but it makes more sense. But instead
Yeah.
it was just like this random like, oh, and by the way, Dad, I stole this. And he's like, I'm mad at you, but it's Christmas.
Well, and
That
he
was it.
also drops that every drone has like a automatic fly back
Yeah,
home
fly back
thing.
home thing, so it didn't even matter.
Yeah. Oh my god. Our window
Our
shut off.
window glitched out. For those of you listening in, you don't know what we're talking about, but those of us you watching it know exactly what we're referencing.
Yeah, for real. We're gonna have to turn this off before
What the hell do you think's gonna happen?
TV's gonna come on.
Their window's gonna turn into a TV, guys.
But anyway, I gotta go to the bathroom really bad.
Well, let's wrap this up really quick because we are almost done telling the story.
Oh man,
Come
that's
on,
so bad.
power through.
All right.
Power through.
So
What happens next?
Then there's this really, really long Christmas party.
Yeah,
It's so long. It's unbelievably long. It feels like it'll never end.
they invite JQ.
JQ is there. They invite everyone from that all the people from the countries, the
Yeah,
Puerto Rican,
a Nigerian man.
the Australian
Yeah.
prime minister or whoever he was talking to is there.
Yeah.
Also Misha shows up.
And the girls are like best friends forever, and they all hug. It's like,
Barry and JQ reminisce. They're like, whatever happened to that guy in jail that we got thrown in jail for being crazy? And they show like a cut to
oh my god, yeah.
Kawas or whatever his name
jail.
was in
And
jail. And
I guess
they're
like his corrections officer or whatever.
yeah, his like corrections officer says like, you're gonna be building toys, thematic.
Santa.
You're gonna be building toys for 10 cents an hour, and every day you're gonna take a communal shower with this guy. And they show like this like
big, strong,
burly, like
yeah.
bearded, scary guy next to him.
Yeah, some skinhead, and it's like
Damn. And then it cuts back to Barry and JQ, and they just bust up laughing.
they bust up and are like some bad shit's gonna happen to him there. It's like, damn, why is he even in jail?
Yeah.
I don't understand why he's in jail. I mean, he's like not like the best guy, but
Yeah.
like what was he gonna kill you? I don't know what he was going to do.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so and then this Christmas party keeps going on. How does it officially end again? Oh yeah, it ends with like them giving
speech.
a toast.
Yeah, they give like a
Barry and
speech.
Sue give like a toast to everyone.
You know, Grant, he's asleep on the couch with cake all over his face.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was good. That was funny.
Oh my
That was a
gosh.
good final shot of Grant.
The final moment of Grant, who has been a light in this fucking darkness.
And they thank everyone for being a light in their lives, and for the new success of the drone, and for saving the world.
Yeah, I mean, they saved the world, which I
And
guess...
they keep saying that phrase, we're gonna save the world.
I wish that it saved Christmas.
Yeah, I wish it was actually saving Christmas.
I wish... You know what? I mean, like...
But they do say, like, the person from India who is the point of contact for Barry says, like, thank you, Barry. We have no more casualties. You saved Christmas for the country of India.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, it's like, isn't like the obvious rewrite of this movie either, you know, Santa is sick, he can't fucking deliver his presents, but he does have his relationship.
Little Frank L. Baum right there.
But-
What if Santa couldn't do
Yeah,
his
but
job?
he has this relationship with Barry, and he's like, Barry, I need you to use your drones to deliver Christmas gifts.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like, that's like the one thing, and then like, whatever, there's like some sort of like conflict. Or the other thing is like, if you want to do this weird like rescue thing,
Mhm.
there's a natural disaster in this area, you know, and he wants to deliver presents to save Christmas in that area where there's a natural disaster,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, but it's hard to get there because there's like, so he's delivering like medicine and also like toys. Lol. But like, I guess, but you know what I mean? It's like I want like it to be saving Christmas. I don't want to just like, I don't want the drones to save the world.
No.
I want to focus on Christmas because it's a fucking Christmas movie, and there was an elf in there,
Yeah.
and there was Mrs. Claus, and you know, he was FaceTiming Santa. Like, I want it to
Yeah.
be Christmas forward.
But so I guess this brings us to, let's wrap it up. Let's give the snowball rating for 2023's I almost said the app that stole the drone that saved Christmas.
Mhm.
Ava, what's your recommendation and rating for this
So
one?
on one hand, this movie was awesome because it was just so fucking like weird and like confusing. It was, I want to say, more confusing than the fucking Christmas Castle.
Santa's Castle.
Santa's
Yeah,
Castle.
I agree. I think it was. I think
it was more confusing than Santa's Castle,
inscrutable.
but
in
I felt it
parts.
was more enjoyable than Santa's Castle.
I never checked out of this one. I was always like kind of
And there-
entertained by
yeah.
what was happening.
I mean, there's jokes, and like that didn't. The jokes in the Santa's Castle were horrible. There was jokes there, but they weren't good.
yeah.
And the riffing there was not good.
No, yeah.
But so this was like,
There's some
so
solid
it's kind
riffing
of interesting
here.
because like this was like more confusing, but funnier and more enjoyable.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
feel like it has to be at 3 snowballs for me.
Interesting. I'm gonna go with a 2.5. I'm keeping it. I'm giving it kind of the same score. I think the pros of this are of equal to the pros of Santa's Castle. It just has less cons, and I do think that it was extremely muddled and boring, but funny to
Yeah.
watch. And I do rate that. That's why I rate it as high as I rate it. 2.5.
Yeah.
But I do preserve 3 or higher for movies that I think are more engaging viewing experiences. Like, I think I'd rewatch Santa's Summer House before I rewatched this.
But wasn't this like engaging on the level of like they go into like Santa's like spa in the end?
I mean, I
and,
loved
like,
that. That was
And
crazy
I
and
kind of
weird.
want to like rewatch it to like understand maybe better like what the company
You want
does.
to rewatch it?
I want to rewatch the beginning, like the first 30 minutes.
Oh,
You know,
man.
because like I feel like I don't understand so much from this movie, but we literally watched it this morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah, this is fresher in our minds than Karen.
Yeah, but Karen, I know what happened in that
Yeah.
movie. I don't know what happened in this movie.
Well, similar to A Christmas Karen, you can watch the drone that stole Christmas on Tubi.
With commercials,
With
which
commercials.
will probably make it even harder for you to like keep up with
Yeah.
the plot. I wish this didn't have commercials so I could really just like sit through it.
Yeah, exactly. And have a whole experience.
Yeah.
But so, Ava, I think is that where we're going to leave it today for the Christmas
I think
marathon?
you know that's where we have to leave it today. You know, we had an extra long, extra special episode.
That's right. We went
we had
long
our first
today.
celebrity guest, which was exciting. My mom, who I've always wanted to have on this podcast since it's Inception.
Yeah,
I
this
wanted
has
to make
always been an idea of
Yeah.
our first guest being your mom.
Mainly because I just wanted her to watch one of these movies.
Yeah. And
Because I like having my mom watch like a weird movie. Like I make her watch like the Neil Breen movies.
yeah,
and,
or
you know,
Stalked by My Doctor.
Stalked by My Doctor,
with Eric Roberts.
or even as a weird YouTube video. I like making
Yeah.
my mom watch stuff. So I found a lot of personal joy from that, and I love her sparkling opinions, and I love your sparkling opinions as my partner. Almost burped.
Well,
Had to
folks,
burp off camera.
that's the episode. The films, again, A Christmas Karen from 2022, directed by John Binkowski and Lisa Eno Smith, and The Drone That Saved Christmas from this year, 2023, directed by Miriam Bavli. Join us next time when we review and analyze 2 brand new, high concept, low budget Christmas B movies on Will and Ava's Christmas Movie Marathon. And until next time,
Ho 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 and happy holidays.
happy holidays, folks.